Anybody have any changes to the agenda? None, I would make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, first item would be an update from the Development Authority. You're up.
Okay, I did a handout for the 3 county commissioners. Basically what I did for August. And the building on Roy Road just, it's under contract, so it's about to be sold. I think there was a water manufacturer out there. And there's several people looking around that are tentatively looking at open businesses here. I will be meeting with the web designer to talk to them about website changes. Jim's going to have new aerials done of the airport. And because I want to include, the airport is a real strong factor, and have the buildings on there, and just have it where any site selector, anyone looking to locate there would have all the information they need, just right under that tab.
Jim, do you have those pictures? I've got a bunch of pictures of stuff out there. You got it? Okay.
And then this Friday, I will go to Atlanta and take the Apple Festival tickets, apples, and just some information about Door County, and take that to the Georgia Department of Economic Development, in the federal offices, and Georgia Power, all of our partners in economic development. I think that's something Chuck did last year, so I think it's a good thing, and hopefully they'll come to the Apple Festival. They'll just enjoy also the rolled fried apple pies. And I was going to have a meeting with the realtors, but then I was asked to speak at their first quarter meeting, and so that's probably going to be the best venue, just to go to their meeting and let because they'll come because they qualify for their continuing education there. So I'll have to coordinate with their coordinator to make sure what I cover meets their continuing education requirements. But that will be in the 4th quarter, so that will be, probably, I would guess, in October. The annual conference is coming up. I will be attending also the International Economic Development Conference. And then, of course, the retail workshop on October the 5th, which I will be going, and, if any of you want to go, you're welcome to ride along with me. But that is primarily sponsored by Georgia Power, so that's an annual event for them, I believe.
Tell me again about the water plant out on Roy Road.
On Roy Road, I have a picture of the building.
I know, I've seen it. I've been there.
It is under contract, so if nothing goes wrong, it will close. But I don't know who's going in there.
Okay. Was it owned by the bank, or was it a private?
No.
It's owned privately.
It was private.
It was owned privately, and it was foreclosed on, and then it was purchased, and now it's owned privately. And I think that's just being sold privately.
Okay. Good.
So hopefully whoever is buying it will open it for some type of business.
Good.
But it's a nice building from the outside.
It's a very big building.
Big building. Big plant.
Yeah. They actually, it's being used, or was being used as a dwelling. And part of the warehouse storage was classic cars.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the same people that are actually buying it now or if they're selling it, but when we paved Roy Road last year, it was occupied.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, update Parks and Rec.
Football season rolling away. We have 2 home stands on the turf. So the kids will be
stop sign, tennis courts in between the baseball field and tennis courts. That particular lane up there is the B to the final stop sign. So there are some sets we got out there that we did on. Ron Caldwell talked to him yesterday. He's got it scheduled to put footers in for those bathrooms next week. So we'll be underway shortly. I'm meeting with Jason Lowry at the golf course today. And then we're going through several locations to get bathrooms. We started up there. So got a lot going on right now in both locations. So we're making some improvements.
One of those locations in the golf course there, or thought we were going to have to put it up behind houses, which I really didn't want to do. And if I owned a house right there, I wouldn't want to be looking at a building. So when the guy got there, I took him to the first place we did that I wanted to put it. He took the samples and that was good. He said there shouldn't be any problem with putting it there. It sorted down the hole and then put it out of the way away from his home. We can put it there, you know, put it there where we were.
Yeah, we got all the solar houses back, so they're ready to take off.
I think it was a couple weeks ago, exactly.
Can I ask a question? Do we have a schedule or what's our current short-term plan on pool use after Labor Day now?
We've got a plan put together with track, which is the swim club, and there's an afternoon schedule that's been put out, and we're actually selling lap passes and stuff like that. So
Where do I find that information?
We've got a copy there. We've got copies there at the office, and plus we're also doing the water road is still continuing on too on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we've got a schedule put together, and track is they're advertising a lot of that through their website, but we will be posting that since Labor Day's over. We'll be posting that schedule. Will be posted on our website also, so you'll be able to get there. But we still got there's still a few schedule things that we haven't ironed out before we can actually put it full on focus. So we're in.
Because the gates aren't locked, basically.
They're not
Gotcha.
As you can see there, guys, that was a very good month. It was a lot better than last month. Well, I should say a lot, but it was better. And normally this time of year, when it starts to slow down, when the football season gets here, play normally slows down, but it did not. We had two tournaments that month also. We had a Hall of Fame early in the month, and they're really trying to build their tournament up and doing a good job to get more players. And then, of course, we had the builders the last day of the month, and they always have a big crowd. That was a pretty successful day. But that number will probably start to dwindle down here. I mean, especially in the beginning of October, November, until we get our memberships coming back in. That's just the business. As far as the shop and everything, it's good. We got our pre-emergence out. I think it was the 24th we actually did that on. And then we went down, of course, we didn't care about that. We did BOC, we did the third grade, and then we did down. I got down there at time rooms. I had to back that up a day or two when we kind of hurricane. I didn't know what kind of weather was bringing up in here. So, but they're done. They should be healed here in a couple of weeks. This month we do have two more tournaments. Downtown development on the 16th, and then the West Warren, which is the biggest of them. I'll have to bar, that's the third line, have to bar cars for. So it should help out this time. And in the shop there, when Dallas asked last about the grill and everything, DJ came by. He should be up there now. We're going to start working on that, getting this stuff swapped over. It'll take a while to get everything set up because he's going to have to go. He can't just go up there and stay. He's got other places to go. So I gave Charlie a copy of the plat. Per se, what we want to do. It shouldn't cost you know, if any, very little money. We're gonna add it over here, take it over, add it over there. Get that out here in a couple months.
How do we get $1,000 in food revenue this month?
I go to Walmart, Costco, wherever and buy snacks.
Okay.
I mean, I've got candy bars, crackers, I mean, just.
Well, golfers are hungry, I know.
Oh, yeah, I mean, they want to eat something, and be surprised what you make on it, And I didn't realize what we made on drink season, but it is, you know, they're gonna come in there and grab a candy bar, pack crackers, something. Once we get this put over, then we'll have a lot better options for them.
Let me ask the same question. We do concession type stuff at all the ball fields, basically. Who, is that volunteer, or how does that work?
We work it.
You all work that out. Is something like that logical to put a group together for the golf course, just like we do for the ball fields? To man it and offer it?
No, because you don't have you don't have the foot traffic that you would have at, say, like one of our football days. You know, we've got 3 or 4 games being played. You got people constantly coming in and out of the gate.
So volume is different.
Yes, so, but with the golf course, once we get the snack bar, which you might say, going where we got hot dogs and we're gonna have, I've already talked to Casey about the fountain drink machine in. So once we get those things going, I mean, you're gonna be able to offer those services really without anybody having to work the account.
Okay.
Okay, update on the airport, public works.
During the month of August, we started hauling dirt again on the Phase 1 project. As I told you last month, we finished the FEMA force account work in the month of July, and that enabled us to start back to working on those contracts. We have 3 contracts open at the airport right now. Phase 1 of the dirt moving project, Phase 2, and the crack suit. And during the month of August, we hauled 11,400 cubic yards of dirt with 2 trucks, gentlemen. And I'll get to that in just a moment. But so work is progressing there. We have about 35,000 cubic yards of dirt left to haul and put in place. Phase 1 contract. We have about 175,000 left out of an $875,000 contract. That contract has been extended and will expire December the 31st. Phase 2, which is the ditches running parallel to the runway, has been extended to April the 30th of 2017. As soon as we finish with Phase 1, then we have another 35,000 cubic yards of dirt that will be hauled to fill the ditches along the site. The cracking.
I'm sorry, I thought we talked about Phase 2 coming from on site.
We have, no, Dallas, the only thing out of Phase 1 and Phase 2 that comes from on site is the second hill. There is, that will be put into the whole, the Phase 1. But the amount of dirt there is negligible as compared to the overall amount of dirt that there is to be hauled. During the month for phase 1 and phase 2 and the crack seal. We have submitted reimbursement requests totaling $294,849.20. In the crack seal contract, we have there what is called land acquisition services. We have 3 parcels of land that is targeted for acquisition. And the land acquisition services are appraisal, review appraisal, and environmental assessment on those. We completed one of the 3. We're in the process now of doing the appraisal and review appraisal on the second parcel. So, phase 2 of the contract, which I mentioned earlier, has been extended to April 30th of 2017. However, what I would anticipate is that phase 1 and phase 2 will be finished by the 31st of December. So we're moving along. If we can stay concentrated on that work, then I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to finish phase 1 and phase 2 by the 31st of December. Any questions about the airport?
We're going to talk further about the CIP.
Yeah, you've got that as a separate agenda item, so I'm not even going to talk about that now. On roads and bridges, as I reported to you last month, we have completed the Elmeg paving, Craigtown and Ridgeway Church Road. We will be striping those roads during this month. I do have some good news to report to you on the second portion of Ridgeway Church Road, and that is the right-of-way acquisition. The property owner that had been reported to us that was deceased is not deceased.
Oh, no way.
Apparently, we had 2 names, 2 individuals in Fannin County with the same name, and so we have actually talked to that property owner. We're waiting now for him to actually come to the site and let us show him on the ground what we propose to do. So with that, we will have all 23 parcels with the right-of-way. And Mr. Turner has not indicated any second thoughts about doing it, but he wants to actually see it on the ground. There is not a structure on the property, so we don't have that to deal with. And Mr. Turner has owned the property since 1973. So anyway, that's good news.
Resurrection.
What did Mark Twain say? The reports of my demise.
As far as FEMA is concerned, I've reported to you that we have finished the force account work. That came out to about $500,000. And we're going to talk on the 12th about how we get that back into the roads and bridges budget, because I'm anxious to get that done. We still have the large project. That is the old Bucktown Road slide. The engineers are in the process of getting all of the permits, and we met with the affected property owner this month and trying to build in some things that will make the property more natural than what the original engineering design was. Now, whether FEMA will approve that, I do not think. That will remain to be seen once we receive the engineering plans. So, That's all I have to report to you on roads and bridges. Solid waste, the scale house has been delivered and installed. We have finished the water and sewer connections and the power connections. As we speak today, the carpenters are building the porch and the bridge from the scales to the scale house, so I would anticipate that possibly by the end of the week we will be into the new scale house. September the 1st, we discontinued accepting recyclables at 4 of our convenience centers. You probably saw those notices in the paper, and they were spread all over the place. September the 1st, we accept recyclables at 3 locations, and that is Tower Road, Coosawaty, and Target. And those are the locations where we have dual compactors. One of the compactors is designated for recyclables and the other for household garbage. One of the other things that has come up this month, gentlemen, that I want to make you aware of, and the chairman is aware of, is that we have been notified by EPD that we have 3 of the 8 new methane wells that we monitor. We have been monitoring those every month for a year now. And 3 of them will have to have additional trenching work, and that is simply to dig a trench in the area of the methane well and fill that trench with number 57 stone to allow the methane gas that is migrating there to escape before it gets off property. And the areas that EPD has told us to concentrate on will be the western property line, and the western property line, if you're familiar with the landfill, will be the property line where the TV tower is, and the southern property line, which is the property line that fronts on Tower Road. We have 3 of those wells that we will have to do about 1,500 feet of trenching and fill with stone. So that's something that we are working on now and will continue to work on.
How many years they give us to get that done?
We have to have it done immediately.
Yeah, right.
In addition to that, Dallas, we have one of the groundwater wells that we have not been able to monitor the aquifer because it's gone dry. And EPD has instructed us that we have to drill a new well. Now, originally they had told us, and Charlie, this is information just since yesterday, originally they had told us that we have to have that new groundwater monitoring well completed by October. But what our environmental engineers were able to do yesterday is go back to EPD and say, we need to concentrate on the methane wells. Let us do that first. Give us until the next monitoring of the groundwater. We monitor groundwater every 6 months. So we have those things that have to be done at the landfill. It's not something that you should be surprised about.
But we have no groundwater there. Why do we have to monitor it?
What we have to do is we have to go deep with that.
No.
Don't try to put time
I'm sorry.
Okay. Welcome to my world. This is something that the county has been dealing with for 15 years and has 15 more years more to go, maybe, and it could be extended beyond that.
Sure.
The other thing that I want to let you know is that in all of this research and stuff that we've been trying to deal with on the methane wells, the county doesn't actually own that property.
Where?
The landfill property.
This is something I found out yesterday.
Yeah, Charlie found out about it yesterday.
Why should I be surprised?
Well, it appears that what happened is that, that particular site was a city dump.
Is this good news?
1975, 79, your predecessors entered into an agreement with the city to manage and maintain the landfill. So the real property is owned by the city of Ellijay. Gilmer County has the responsibility by contract with the city to maintain and operate that facility. So,
What is this, what the escape club?
Yeah, what's the termination on that?
I don't know, I'm,
It's surely Petty's plan.
that needs to be referred to the county attorney. That's outside my purview. So, anyway, I'm just full of good news today as far as solid waste is concerned. But the maintenance shop, one of the things that I reported to...
Can I go back to solid waste? for a
Sure,
minute?
sure.
We have heard rumors and talked indirectly about removing the cash from our convenience center. Could I make a suggestion, not a motion or resolution of it, but could I make a suggestion that we ask Jim to give us a proposal with several alternatives to eliminate cash? Is that a fair request to make?
Actually, Jim has made a proposal. We might want to update it just a bit. It's what, a couple, 3 years old now, but.
Your
he has a proposal
predecessor.
to do just that.
Yeah, well, that was not to eliminate cash. And I would recommend to you that you think long and hard about eliminating.
That's what I want to do.
Well,
is
because all you have to do is look at your financials and look at what revenue comes in. Now, when you say eliminate cash, you're talking about the dollar per bag.
Well,
not necessarily.
He's not talking about the method of payment.
I'm talking about the physical
Oh,
handling.
eliminating cash.
The physical handling.
I presented to your predecessors a proposal. Well, it might have been before you, where we could have actually installed the machinery to be able to swipe a credit card or to accept cash through a machine. And the card swipers are very similar to what you would experience if you went to Squiggles Card, where you are able to swipe a card, or you're able to actually put cash into that machine. Now, at that time, this is just going from memory because I provided that to Charlie. Charlie asked for that 2 years ago, I guess. Those machines were about $7,000 each. And at that time, the commissioner didn't feel like that it was justified. But I can tell you, if just in the collection of the cash money we have one individual that we pay mileage to. They are full-time, they occupy a convenience center part of the time, and they collect money from 7 part of the time. It would eliminate that cost. That cost alone would pay for the, it would pay for the 7.
Well, let me say.
I just want to,
I still got to collect cash from the machine.
all I'm suggesting is that in the next 3 months or something, we'll review that.
Let me say.
Okay.
Sandy and I met with two different entities, both of which, one in particular, is working on getting us a proposal for doing just this. So we'll be able to bring you up.
Okay.
With current figures and so forth. In one case, I think they were just going to kind of look around some more, not really.
What kind of, were the prices comparable to the prices that I got before?
We don't have prices yet. That's what we're waiting on. We've talked about, we've met with them to discuss what we need
Okay.
and to get their recommendations, and then they're going to come back with a full proposal for us, and at that time we'll bring that proposal.
Well, what triggered my thought was Travis had a handout the other day, or put in our mailbox about the different way of identifying trash bags or something. You remember that?
I don't want
Yeah. Yeah. I ran across that again, and it triggered my mind to bring
to.
that
But
up.
if the machines collect cash too, you haven't eliminated
Well,
cash.
you haven't eliminated that, but one of the things, see, our attendance at our convenience centers, we do not make change.
Understand.
So the citizen has to come with the correct change to be able to do that. We do not accept credit. So the machine would eliminate some of the necessity that we have right now. We actually print tickets that cost could be eliminated. I could go on and on about how that machinery could eliminate costs that we're experiencing in solid waste right now.
Well, I think that's what Dallas is
Well,
asking, there's a summary and what
Yeah,
are the possibilities.
Yeah. Because, our revenues are up 20-some%, I believe, from over last year, which is good. Of course, our expenses are up too, with EPD's help. But, yeah, and you're exactly right. The cost we have between Sandy and the office and the going physically and handling that cash, plus the concern is the auditors have always said that when you deal with cash and only one individual is involved, we're kind of in violation of good accounting practices. So I'd like to eliminate the risk.
I don't know how Sandy would handle the county and the reconciling of that.
But if you don't have that, you don't have deposit.
It would probably be-
Deposit preparation for it.
It would probably be a lot less time consuming to
A
count
lot less time consuming
than what it is right now.
if you take what the commissioner's office experiences in cost for handling that cash and what the solid waste department experiences in handling that cash, you will be amazed. I'll be happy to put you a proposal together. I think I can refresh the proposal that I did 4, 5 years ago.
Could we just work it in our budget workshops during that time? Would that work for you? It would
That's
for
what
me.
we, that's what we need. for-
It would for me, not, that'd be fine. Okay.
We can do
I think that'd be a good time and a good way to
I
handle
am so glad that you all are thinking that way.
Well, we
Because,
knew you didn't have enough to do, so we.
well, no, it actually, I think, will simplify matters for her, for me, for Randy, our manager. I mean, I think it will,
Efficiency and.
yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Got it.
now, the maintenance shop. One of the things that I have mentioned, and Charlie is certainly aware of this, and I want the post commissioners to be aware. Our equipment is just, I mean, so much of it, gentlemen, is on its last leg. We had 2 dump trucks down the entire month of August. 2 of our best dump trucks. Now, the Heister dumpster that I reported to you last month, what we have, and we are looking for the Heister compactor. What we are looking for is a good used one. And what the maintenance shop, what the folks there have been able to come up with is a way to machine the shaft in the front roller to where we think we can refurbish that compactor to make it a spare. It would not be first line, but in case we ran into the situation that we ran into this year trying to do paving, we would have something to fall back on. But our dump trucks are, gentlemen, they have, our best truck has over 500,000 miles. Our best truck. And it's something, Charlie and I talk about this a lot, and we're going to go ahead and start trying to get prices on trucks and things like that. But I'm not sure we can go another year with some of the equipment that we're trying to operate. And it's not just equipment, it's manpower too. So anyway, that's all I've got. Unless you have questions.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Permitting of commercial outfit.
Dallas, back in January, you sent an email with an attachment that had a letter from Ed Lacy, you recall that? From a comprehensive plan in a couple of places. I think a couple of statements from our comprehensive plan that were included in that letter are worth repeating. Gilmer County's natural resources are some of its greatest assets. Those resources which are especially vulnerable include the following: water supplies and watersheds, rivers, trout streams, and creeks, and it has some others. Under opportunities, just below that section in our comprehensive plan, the following statement: the 3 rivers in Gilmer County, Coosawhattie, Cartier, and Ellsworth, are essentially inaccessible to the majority of residents and tourists. 2 canoe launch areas are currently being developed, but additional improvements in both visibility and access would greatly benefit the community. I went this morning and took photos of those 2 access points that were mentioned. One is behind a fence. That's it. I couldn't get a closer picture. I had to take it from the bridge. Can you see it?
Yeah.
That was built with county funds, and it is now behind that fence.
And that would be Lower Cartier, right?
So one of the
Whose
2,
fence? Whose fence?
the property. So that's one of the 2 that are mentioned here. And then you're well familiar with the other one, which has 4 months of the year, there's restricted access to that.
And we actually have one down at the River Park.
Yes, but it's
Sort of.
It's on the south side of the sewage pipe too, so it's kind of hard to get to it.
That is an additional access point that has been developed since this state.
Right.
You're right.
And you have another one also, and that is the,
DNR
put in
side.
takeout at the DNR.
Oh,
side.
yeah.
Right. So I was referring to the two mentioned
Yeah,
here
right.
specifically. We have talked about a user fee system, commercial outfitter permitting with a user fee of $1. I wanted to demonstrate, I took photos up at Mount Haywood. Did y'all get these in your
I did,
packet?
yeah.
Yeah. So this is at a place called Fairview Access Point in Mount Haywood. It's fee required, daily pass is $1, a seasonal pass is $5. It tells where they're available, no reviews. Here's the permitted outfitters, these are listed at that site. Here's what the money is used for. So you got an opportunity to see it? Okay. So this is common. This is the common solution for providing access, providing facilities and so forth. Instead of just putting it on the backs of the taxpayers, it's the user fee generated revenue that produces access points, parking, and so forth and so on.
How's that river controlled? Who controls the river?
Yeah, let Travis finish.
Okay.
The county owns the takeout at Mulkey Road, but there is not a publicly owned takeout upstream. The long-term viability of the pattern community in LJ, Gilman County, and Carthay River would be best served by a publicly owned takeout at some point upstream. We don't have a funding mechanism that I'm aware of for something like that project. The budget is tight. We've reviewed our current budget without even thinking about that, and we know it's tight, and we just went through a tax increase and so forth and so on. So I'm not aware of SPOS funds or anything to accomplish that. So I really believe that the commonly used mechanism to generate those funds in the southeast is this program. I think it's very viable, very doable here in Gilman County that will long-term secure paddler access, fisherman access, and just recreational access to our rivers. I agree with the statements that they're essentially unacceptable now. I don't think strides have been made since that was printed or written and adopted. If anything, it's gone the other direction. So the proposed ordinance had some objections in terms of enforceability and so forth and so on. I told you about the armband system. I talked with Tony and Ken, and they believe they can help with the enforcement side of it without any additional funding. Personnel, is that accurate? Or we're not going to do it anyways. When there's incidents on the river, they're the ones calling on it, that's swift and so forth and so on. So I would like to amend the proposed ordinance to include an armband system and enforcement by these guys, but I don't want David to spend time on that without knowing that y'all are willing to consider those as alternatives. Or if not, I want to hear your idea.
Well, I'll comment a little bit, and I know Woody's probably got some comments. The one thing I noted and one difference that I'm struggling with is in the Haven area is totally, as far as I understand, public land, not government, not private citizens.
No, there's private land all along the highway.
I understand the river and the gorge and those areas are owned by the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
There's businesses all up and down.
We're talking about access to the water. They are actually licensed and permitted through, they're
TVA.
like the marina is at the core. They're a part of that.
No, TVA controls the water. TVA is a dam controlled river. About 3 times a year, they actually release the upper section,
Yes.
which is phenomenal. But only 3 times a year. TVA, which is Tennessee Valley Association, which controls the water. The water within Gillman County is not controlled via a dam released method. So, right now, at the water stage, which is 1.3,
Okay,
it's not really controlled by
okay.
only Mother Nature.
Travis isn't finished,
Okay.
so let's let Travis finish,
This example is from Manhattan because it was the closest one where I could go photograph these. But this is a mechanism used throughout the southeast, on publicly and private controlled rivers. There are residences along the Manhattan River. There are businesses along that corridor on the highway. So
I still think the difference is as to who owns the riverbed and the water, I think, but don't quote me on that, I'm not a lawyer.
but here we have private ownership of the river.
Yes, and
And it's our responsibility to protect landowner rights, to provide the commercial access, to provide private access. We have to balance all of
right,
this.
exactly.
And we do need to provide facilities.
Yeah.
This is a mechanism to do it. The alcohol ordinance that has been adopted is being largely ignored. I know you've had people in your office showing you photos and so forth. They told me they've been.
Yeah, they have, and we have signs over in place at these locations. But as we discussed at that time, about the only thing we can do from a commissioner's perspective is get those signs up.
Right.
There have been calls to law enforcement that have not been responded to. We've had several instances of that reported. So the landowners are still asking for help and they're not getting it. And, part of our discussions, the objections was to enforce existing ordinances, but trespassing calls have not been responded to. So we're still not there. We don't have a solution. And I hate to keep bringing this thing up, but it's going to get worse and worse over time.
Travis, I think the best solution is one that we don't have, and that is that we provide better and more public access points and control it at those points. And I think that is an answer. And I think that's what others, like they did there at Antahela, they have control of that. And that worked. It apparently worked, I think.
So we do have control of the multi-road access points, so what would we do that would alleviate this problem?
That's only half, that's only half, because you don't have the entrance.
So the question that begs to be asked is how do you fund that?
The entrance.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I know, and that's a struggle.
How do you fund it? Because I've been looking at our budget already and it's, where is it?
And we do have one other, as far as I'm concerned, this is not under our control, but the state has created this problem through their laws and through allowing private owners to own to the middle of the river. Less control and less access because of the laws at the state level.
But I don't think the fact that the private owners own the middle of the river is really the problem. I would suspect if somebody's going down the river and they jump out in the river and walk around a little bit, probably the private owners don't care that much. It's when they leave the river and come on to their property that's the problem. And even if they didn't own the middle of the river, that would still be a problem.
No, but it does create a enforcement problem when we're not able to get on private property to enforce it as easily. That's what I'm saying.
So the access points are key, I agree with you.
Yes.
And providing one upstream, I think should be a priority. We really need
Yeah,
restroom
I agree
down
with
there,
that.
and I have a photo of
Yeah.
a prefab restroom in use by numerous agencies in the forest. These are completely prefab, assembled on site, they're all concrete. They look beautiful.
That's almost what we have out of the Corps of Engineers. Very similar. It's very functional.
And this particular one has plumbing. They also have some with just vent stacks. That is not a good solution for the amount of usage that we would have.
Right.
That would not be a good situation. So,
Travis, I'm in favor of the solution. I'm not yet to the point of thinking that we can handle the fee basis to solve that problem. That's just where I'm at right now.
and what's the hang-up?
Well, I think it's the mechanics of it. I don't want to put that responsibility on private owners and businesses. I do not want to let that become a anti-marketing thing against using our rivers. I don't want that to be a hindrance to promoting tourism. But I admit that other than that, I don't have a financial solution to provide the facilities we need. I just don't. I agree with you.
So here we are.
We're caught.
I'm open to it.
It's been going on for 20-plus years. It's an adopted solution that works. It's not burdensome on anyone. We're providing a takeout facility at no charge where there's commercial activity. There's no other county-owned property that I'm aware of that's being used commercially without some rent or something. This is a unique situation, and I'm disturbed about the precedents it sets. I'm still disturbed about the liability issues we have.
But we could solve that problem without a user fee solution.
How?
By permitting the outfitters and charging them directly, because it is a business-related use.
So basically, we wouldn't do the user fee, but we would just shift that cost to the business.
To the business. I mean, that's another alternative.
Well, if you do that, that would be a rent, and you'd have to pay that out of funds collected that you have to pay sales tax on.
Well, it's a fee much like utilities pay.
But the cost associated with it, a user fee passed on to the user, you don't have to collect sales tax on, so it's a minor difference, but it would be less favorable to it. And also, one doing more volume than the other, is that equitable? With multiple outfitters using it, have the same fee?
How do they do theirs up there with those multiple outfitters? Do they collect it?
On the Nantahala, it applies to all boaters, private boaters too. If I go for one day, I have to have a day pass. For $5, I can get an annual pass, which has to be on my person in the river, which I carry when it's landed. All of the commercial activities, part of the fee paid goes to this fund. That's just the agreement for the permit. And I've encouraged you to do your own research. I mean, I can give you all the jurisdictions that I'm aware of that are dealing with it.
Can we
Yeah, Woody.
Dallas kind of said it. I mean, there's just a straight fee. I already talked to Mr. Charlie about the annual cost that it's going to cost for the insurance wise, and most outfitters are doing that. I already talked to Charlie about that. There is a cost within that also for the insurance side. If you can turn on the water, please. I'd love it. TVA, Texas Valley, or Tennessee Valley Association actually controls that water. Like I was saying earlier, it is released under them. The Ocoee right now is under a huge fight. Same thing that Travis right there is saying, that they do charge $1, but also they're actually threatening to shut off the water for the outfitters. Basically, if it rains up on the Ecoa here in a few years, that's when you get on the water. If it doesn't rain, well, you don't have any fun because it's controlled by Tennessee Valley Association. It's a dam-fed river. There should be probably a cost for each outfitter coming in, which there is a business license cost, plus there's also 7% sales cost, plus on the credit card that Mr. Jim was saying earlier, there's going to be it's a 2.3% cost on that also. The minute you put a credit card thing in there for your disposable trash, you got to realize that you're actually losing 2.3% no matter what, right off the bat. 2.9, watch at 2.3 to 2.75. So American Express is more, so we don't accept that. But yeah, there probably should be maybe a one-time charge each year for that. Wristbands, they end up in the water a lot. Seen them on the Nantahala, up there kayaking, they've been in the water. It's up to you if you want to create an additional, I guess, trash source. That's totally fine. We'll pick it up once you like we have it. It's really, I don't know, Mr. Dallas said a bunch, maybe. You know, I don't know. That's it.
Woody is correct in that Tennessee Valley Authority controls the water and does release, but the same permitting fees apply on the French Broad, the Nola Chucky, the Chattooga, the Upper Chattahoochee, all of those are natural release rivers. So it's not tied just to a water release situation.
Upper Chattahoochee does not have a cost. Oh, Upper Chattahoochee, I thought you were talking about Chattooga, which that's government. There's no cost in that.
Yeah, the outfitters up there pay a portion to maintain those.
Yeah, not the regular mowers. And the outfitters are more of the wraps. They're more of a wraps type outfitter.
So if we can come up with a revenue stream to fund the new facilities, and it's just like we're kind of playing catch up here, like we are with the Parliament and everything else. This should have been done 15 years ago. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today. That's where we are. And, so I'm asking the question. Charlie said he's open to that. I don't want David to spend time drafting something in attorney's fees if we're not bought into it conceptually. And if we're not, what is the solution?
Woody, did I understand from your comments, and I think I may have misunderstood this, but are you saying that you prefer Dallas's proposed solution where rather than doing the $1 user fee, we just shift it to the outfitters?
I mean, it just create a cost. I mean, they're like a $250 a year, but the only thing is the minute you put in like what Travis is trying to do, bathroom down there, and then it floods. And then you get sewage going into the river. That's not good, okay? Which it's going to flood. It's flooded up. So if we do a one-time cost, I don't know if you can actually theoretically put a continuous bathroom down there like the Ecoa has. The Ecoa has the vent along with the change room. I don't think you can. It's not a controlled river. If it floods, yeah. I mean, there's going to be a cost, like what I was telling you earlier. There's going to be a cost for the insurance fees. It's a year cost every year. If we did a one-time for each outfitter, Travis is an outfitter. He has to, if you per se have an outfitter, then you should have a cost. So if Travis wants to go and start using Moki to the takeout, which is DNR, he can start using that. It's a cost. Everybody should be within that same cost. Okay?
As I understood Dallas's proposal, it would not be a one-time, it would be a year annual.
Yeah, it'd be an annual thing, like $250 or something. I mean, right now we're paying $75 for that.
I mean, that would do nothing.
Yeah, it's not gonna do a whole lot, but it's, I don't know if you guys wanna charge 5,000, that's a little bit much. I don't know if any other businesses around here, other than, because I'm already leasing my land now, everything. And I don't know if any other businesses around here pay the county $5,000 to use the roads, because everybody has to come off the county roads to get to them.
Do we have an estimate of how many people go down the river yearly that will be generated by $1 each?
Yeah, it'd be a bunch. It'd be a bunch, but there's also a bunch of residents that use it. So it'd be a bunch. There's a bunch of people that rent cabins that use it. It'd be a bunch. It'd be more than 10.
At $5 a year, I mean, we might have to make it all inclusive just from the legal perspective. But at $5 a year, I don't understand.
What can
that.
you do for $5?
Yeah.
You can't see a movie for $5.
Exactly. That would be if we have to do
Private
it.
voters too.
Yeah, but that would be if we have to do it private as well from a legal perspective.
And also the cabin rental on the river also. Those people rent, they'd have to have that $5 fee added into them. So along with that 5% that Travis proposed last time for the cabin rentals that are actually getting proposed, now those people are actually gonna have to get another $5 hit on.
People rent the cabin, so do they have their own entry point,
Yeah.
or do they still come to y'all?
No, sir, they have their own entry points. Some of them set up their own shuttle during the week, some of them don't. It just depends. But most of them either take out a monkey or they give me a call. A lot of the cabin rentals have our flyers within there. And that way we do provide a service for them. I mean, it is. Well, I mean, I give them advice. Hopefully they don't get lost on the river, which happened before. You know, one's too many, like it is. So one loss is too many.
Well, so as I understand it, what we're really, the only thing we're really talking about here is whether to go forward with that. They would come up
To
with
draft some language.
to draft some language. And I'm good with it.
Now, we have language, we've got a framework of the ordinance that we all are talking about making changes with. That ordinance, or are you talking about starting entirely new?
Well, the objection was on enforceability. And I'm trying, the
Yeah, we talk about
armbands,
enforcement.
the armbands and the agency to get these guys to help us was trying to address your concerns there. I didn't necessarily think that was needed, but it's a response to the enforceability.
Sounds to me like what we're talking about is the initial language with some tweaking in terms of enforceability. That sounds right to you?
I'm just trying to accommodate the other commissioners' points.
I think enforcement was one issue that came up, and then what mechanism for that fee or revenue was another question. Whether it was an individual fee, whether it was outfitter fee, whether it was, what mechanism for that.
And just to be clear, not so much for myself, because I'm pretty confident this is the way it is, but just as general information. Any revenue generated from any of this would go right back into the river activities and takeout points.
So that was
That was
included
it.
in that.
I don't think there was any discussion.
It was
about that.
restricted funds.
But in terms of getting
Right.
this information out to the public, I think it's important that
That's-
people
that's-
realize that whatever funds may be, whatever revenue may be generated from this goes right back into the,
And that's appropriate, I think, for.
You're getting ready to charge the residents of the river $5 a year addition fee for just living on the river, also and having no equipment. Which is not bad, it's not much, don't get me wrong. But you're getting ready to charge them, each person, $5 for living on the river and using the river and using that takeout point. You're getting ready to do that. That's what this will have to do. It'll have to cover them also.
As an
that is one part of the proposal.
Guaranteed,
If use the river.
they have to pay that $5 per
Well,
person per year.
as I understand the proposal, it would be $5 per year.
Mhm.
If-
Per person.
If they use the river, and whether they live on the river or not is purely academic. It would just be if they use the river.
Well, they should just be, I mean, basically what, it should be, what it's saying is if they use mulking. You can use the river, just as if you use mulking,
Technically, that is correct.
right?
That is correct.
Yeah. So if the resident uses that and he gets out of mulking, then you're gonna give him a $5 per person. So all those residents all the way up and down there, if they do use it, which a lot of them do, I know a lot of them, they use it, they gotta pay an additional $5 per person. fee.
Per year.
Per year, per person. So if they have 20 people that come up and visit throughout the year, each person has to pay $5.
Well,
And it goes directly to you.
They come
They,
up and
they don't buy it through us.
if they come up and visit more than 5 times a year, it would be
It'd be
worthwhile
fine.
doing it. Otherwise, they still have the opportunity to pay $1.
And it goes directly to you, so they gotta have an opportunity
No,
to
well,
figure out.
that's what I wanted to clarify.
And so they gotta go into the Gillman County system, correct?
But that's what I want to clarify, when you say it comes directly to us.
Mhm.
Yeah, it would come to us, but it would be earmarked specifically to be used only for improving the river corridor and Mulkey Road.
But, I
It's
mean,
not, we're not gonna start helping pave roads with this revenue.
Fine dump trucks.
I understand that. Yeah. But I mean, it's still
We need.
an additional cost that homeowners are gonna be used or hit.
It would be an additional cost for an additional service.
Yeah. For them just to
It would-
take
it
out
would
right
pay-
there.
It would pay for restrooms, changing facilities, that sort of thing.
So you're gonna have a computer system set up to be able to take credit card over the phone, correct? And or through a computer system and directly pay your funds.
I don't think.
Correct.
I don't think that we're that far along that we can.
Well, I mean, that's-
get that deep into
The process that it have to, I don't have the technology and or the time and or the manpower to do it. I don't, personally, I don't. All right? I'm not a county-owned business, where I'm private. So I don't have the resources to do an additional process for the county.
But you do
So
use-
you would have to set up some kind of computer system. They get it through them, just like the DNR. DNR actually has a computer system. If you're gonna get a year pass, you have to go through them. You can't go through us.
And I just, first of all, don't think that we're that far along in the process to say how it would be done. But secondly, when you say that you can't do it, you're private,
Yeah,
you are, but you are utilizing a public facility in the day-to-day operation of
exactly.
business.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. But also, the
Currently,
residents
no
out
problem.
there have to have an opportunity to be able to use that too.
Sure.
And so you gotta have a system set up to where they can buy it, and that they're held accountable for.
You're right, yes. I just don't.
Right.
You're right. I just can't tell you.
It's gonna be hard to
what
set
that
up.
system's gonna be, right?
Yeah, it'd be hard to set up.
Okay, do we
Let
need?
me just suggest
Yeah.
that we could probably through emails talk about what we could,
I don't think so.
you don't want to do that?
I don't think we
Well,
can.
I want to, through David, I'm talking about, to David, give him guidelines on what changes we'd like to have made.
Yeah, we can all
So
email David and say, here's what we think, sure.
And we can do that
We
individually.
can come up with version 6.
Incorporating 3 different solutions, so y'all just realize you might have to do some serious vetting afterwards.
Well, I mean, how else do you want to do it?
No, I'm just saying, but that's the easiest way, is if y'all have opinions and suggestions on that document, by all means, give them to me. But again, I go back to the whole issue, liability. If y'all don't close that loop,
Well, this won't solve that, will it?
It does require insurance.
All outfitters should, from what my insurance guy was saying, they should probably put the county, it's up to you guys on this one, but that they should list the county within that $1 million insurance policy. And I think all outfitters should have to carry $1 million insurance policy. Right,
But that to me that's a separate issue, not separate, but
It's
an
in that
additional.
ordinance.
Yeah, it's in there.
It just basically covers your behind. Not
at
bad.
this point in time, you don't.
But I could solve that without a user fee, or I could solve that other ways,
That's true.
like we did the alcohol.
That's true, you can do it that way, but if a minute ago you said y'all kind of stuck, well, if you're stuck, great minds it, so to speak, Alice, but I've seen it. I don't live there anymore, but I've seen it. I've seen the problem. Years ago, people could freely visit up there at the falls. Now that's locked down. It's home detention out there. It's like two fleets. And it's just waiting.
But
to
David,
explode.
I agree with you, but we as a county have no legal authority, in my opinion, to control private property.
No,
Yes,
you're
sir.
not controlling
That's
it.
what we're trying to
You're
get.
controlling your access. You can either shut it down and then see the consequences, or you can use it in such a way that you can manage it.
But what I'm saying, we can't, unless it's shut down, we're not going to eliminate the problems with the residents and the visitors and the tourists. It's not going to go away just because we put a law in place. It's not going to solve that problem. The residents are not going to. That's not going to solve their problem.
Wristbands aren't going to keep people off property
That's
either.
my opinion.
I don't
Well, that would
disagree
not-
that wristbands probably are not going to, but the more you do and the more you watch, it's going to take the cooperation of different agencies. There's
Yes,
no
it
doubt.
will. Yes, it will.
But you can't simply ignore it because it's only going to get worse. It's been a topic since I've been involved with the board of commissioners. It was a topic when my father was involved. And there has been never a solution other than posting the sign out there. And that sign doesn't work.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I'd love to go play golf at the golf course for $1. It's not, it's, are you gonna drop your fees to $1?
Can't do it, man.
No. It's not such that
Oh, it's not, I don't think the hard amount is the concern either. No.
And then y'all can build facilities down there. Yeah, it's in a flood zone and it's in a floodway, but you can elevate. You can elevate and you can barricade and take that up to an area where that it will be a safe approach and that'll keep those things from. But long and short is y'all need to do something. That's because of the liability. I am concerned with.
Only of the liability on the private, on the public access point is your concern.
No, I've heard concerns from neighbors, from people urinating in the yards. I mean, I've heard it, you've been in meetings where, one gentleman, when he gave up Dallas, he
I
said
know,
he gave
I
up
remember.
because nobody could come up with a
Yeah,
solution.
I remember.
And that, to me, that's a shame. Because he came here, he wanted a solution. I don't want to open up my back door or my front door and see somebody urinating out in the yard. Honestly, I'm probably not as patient as most people, and I probably take self.
I can attest to that, by the way.
So I think y'all got to.
I'm Travis, and particularly you're passionate and you're persistent, and I appreciate that, and I will continue to work on it, but I'm not willing to put a solution in place that doesn't work. I'm hung up and frustrated that I don't have a solution that I think works.
Well, I've encouraged
That's my concern.
I've encouraged you, Dallas, to research other
I know.
jurisdictions. I've encouraged you to visit river access points on a busy weekend. I've encouraged you to ride the shuttle.
I'm not denying the problem exists,
So,
and I'm not denying the liability doesn't exist. The problem is there. No one's arguing that. Woody won't argue that there isn't a problem, and he's in the middle of it. But coming up with the right solution is something that we need to do. But
There's two comments.
I'm not going to come up with the wrong solution.
There's two comments that I would like to make, and the first thing is I don't think there is a perfect solution.
No.
So we're going to have to decide whether we want an imperfect solution or just nothing at all. The other thing is I would like for whatever we attempt to do this time to be well thought out, well vetted. I guess what I'm saying is I'm fine with revisiting this again, but we need a permanent solution this time, whatever it is.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah, I don't, once we do this, however this turns out, I wouldn't want to see it again for a while. But going back to the first point, there is no perfect solution. And if we refuse to do anything because we can't come up with a perfect solution across the board, well, we're useless.
I'd like to read, and I'm done, I want to read this one section. The American Whitewater Association has a page for every navigable that's illegal. Here's what they say about this section of Carter Cave. Most of this section of Carter Cave runs through a residential area. There are no restrooms have to be put in. Most of the river banks are on private property. Please take care of those needs before putting on. You will paddle past cabins and homes on both sides of the river for most of this section. Most of the homeowners are friendly towards the boating community, but they do not want to see you nude, nor do they want you to go to the bathroom in their yard. It is recommended that you keep your group small and quiet and not stay too long at any one spot or put on the river after dark. In short, please be respectful to the homeowners. There is not statements like this on any other river I'm aware of in Georgia. It's kind of a unique situation being so densely residential on both sides. And so if we don't manage it, it's going to blow up somehow. Those landowners are going to band together and try to stop access on the river altogether, which under our law, you pointed out, they have the right to.
They have the right to do, Travis.
And I don't want that to happen. I voted that river for 34 years.
I understand that. I really understand that. And I don't want that to happen.
Okay, well, with that said, we can input our, email our concerns to David and suggestions, and we will pick this up again then at the next meeting, if that works for y'all. Sure. So, that's the agenda for the October meeting. Okay, moving along. Resolution authorizing the county attorney to amend and advertise changes to the land use ordinance. Now, I'm assuming this is the land use ordinance that we're working on and not the one that the state of Georgia is kind of insisting that they want right now. Would that be a correct assumption?
They're looking for soil erosion, and that's one thing.
Yeah.
And that one actually.
It's on here somewhere.
And
I just want to clarify, this is land use ordinance that we've been working on.
Yes.
Which is essentially finished, but I do think that there was a desire that there be one more meeting with you, President.
Yes.
Just to cross all the T's.
So go through it, do it as a kind of like a workshop, and I think that also has comments that you have to entertain.
I think I passed those on to you at one point. I don't know whether they got passed back to you all, but I think one more
So then
workshop would solve that.
We had
problem.
that scheduled, and
Yeah, we got it.
came up.
Well, David had it. Yeah,
Okay.
you're right.
So we need to schedule a workshop on that.
And that's acceptable to me.
So what day works for y'all? Let's go ahead.
I mean, I'm ready as far as that goes, so it's not a time problem for me. But let's see what.
We need to
coordinate.
coordinate with Travis.
Tuesdays through Thursdays here on the rest of the year are going to be off.
Okay.
Monday and Friday is not going to be there.
Okay. All right, so let's see here.
We all got something.
We've got budget amendments on the 12th.
How long do you think that will take?
Long.
Okay. I'm not sure, Charlie. I'm not too concerned about those amendments.
Well, what we can do is we can add this to that meeting and make that after the budget amendment, make that item number 2.
Although,
And if the budget amendment goes on, we can just decide.
we published that today, so I'm not.
We didn't publish the agenda though. Did we?
But we could amend the agenda.
You could amend, the only concern I might have is this is really a sensitive topic as far as the large industry in our county. So definitely we want them to have the opportunity.
Okay, let's wait.
Well, now there'll still be a public comment and all that.
There would be, but that might,
Let's err on the side of caution there.
Okay.
because, developing that ordinance with the timber, on the timber extraction, I made that process a whole lot smoother.
Yeah.
You said that was on the 12th, that brings us to
This is from
actually next month.
next month, actually.
What about next Wednesday, the 14th?
I'm fine.
Morning is some preference that shows as a commitment at 3. Wednesday morning would be fine. 13th.
That would work for me,
I
better,
can do,
actually.
I can do Tuesday.
Tuesday would work.
Now, is that, it's too late to advertise?
Well, we only have to do the 24 hours. I mean, it doesn't have to be. We got that paper this time because we had time, plenty of time to do it.
I think
Well,
that was
now-
my suggestion, is to get this one in the paper so that you could go ahead and gather input from the builders and the property owners and
You got this one in the paper?
the developers.
So that
Okay,
puts
so
us
that
past.
lets out all of them.
We've got to go another week. Right.
So that puts us into the, okay, 20th, you said Tuesday through Thursday, Travis?
20th is good.
Yeah.
20th.
Okay, what about Tuesday the 20th?
I'm out the 20th and 21st, I could not go mediation, so I wouldn't be able to.
22nd is okay.
Second work for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thursday.
I can reschedule our department head meeting, scheduled for that day. And we very likely won't be able to make it to the Wake America meeting.
Well, that is that
Because
day.
it's probably going to extend
I would
the
agree.
time frame.
I would
But it
agree.
looks like that's going to be when we need to do it.
Yeah. I think it's going to take.
You could do it the following
It'd
week,
be
if
all
you
one.
wanted to do it, that's the way y'all could participate in that activity, on this. This is going to be, this will be a long day on this, because
Yeah.
the discussion internally, those meetings have been fairly lengthy, so I think by the time they're broken down, and the public has a chance to comment on it. And again, it's not a public hearing, so we get Taylor some of those comments, but I think it will be a long day. A full 8 hour day.
So,
Want to go clear out to the 29th?
I'm out 28th, 29th, actually 27th, 29th, 30th for that ICCG conference.
I'd say we keep the
What do
20th.
we have on the 27th? That may be sometime
The bond meeting,
good. Yeah.
is that still
No.
necessary?
Yeah, I was going to ask.
That's going to, when we get into Henry Clark, the authorities attorney and I were discussing things, but there's some things that are coming into play that I don't think that meeting is going to necessarily be.
But now, the problem I've got on the 27th, I could schedule the bond meeting because we were talking about a 15, 20
And you would leave them.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be leaving to drive to
Yeah.
the conference that day, so I can't turn all that meeting on the 27th.
How about February?
What time was your wake up, or the thing on Thursday?
12.
Thursday, the 27th?
It's actually 12.
Would you just?
Oh, well, I mean, this is, it's a monthly meeting.
Yeah.
We have to miss one. I think that's good.
And could we adjourn for a while and go to that and come back if we want to? No?
I don't want to do that.
Well, never mind, bad idea.
Well, it looks like
I-
it's either the 22nd or
Would you
February.
do it the 22nd of the afternoon, say at 1 or 1:30, and that way you didn't have to miss it? If you had stretched into the evening hours, maybe 5:30 or 6, you don't want to do that?
I don't.
I can, but
I'd rather start it.
We
Well,
can order, we can order.
that would be your motivation, then.
Let's start at 4. We need motivation to eat quick.
well, I mean, it does look like we do the 22nd or February. So,
I stick with 22nd.
Late would be done by
4
1.
hours may work.
If we're very intentional and
It would be,
prepared.
it would be unusual, but 4 hours might work.
I mean, it might, it's just not certain.
I agree.
You know, there is a possibility that we
Yeah.
could.
Because there's a lot of that that's not real controversial, but there's some things I think that will be enough that we'll get some comments.
How about 1 p.m. on the 27th?
You want to start at 1?
Works fine. for me.
Okay,
Would that allow us,
that's fine.
you want to attend the wedding?
Yeah, that'll fine. That's fine.
That'll be done in time for that.
Yeah.
All right, so 1 p.m. on the 22nd?
time to advertise, and we'll do it here probably, won't we? No reason not to.
Yes, just a work session.
Charlie, since we've made that choice, I know there's at least the three gentlemen here wanted to speak relative to one aspect of that ordinance, and I don't know whether they need to do that now.
Well, yeah,
We
I mean,
want-
we can always kind of speak to it.
I've got this little short handout that I'd like to. It just sort of summarizes what we're talking about. My name is Jody Honeycutt. I'm with the LJ Amateur Radio Society, and through the years, since back in the 1920s, both the Federal Communications Commission and more recently FEMA have made special provisions in their laws regarding electromagnetic spectrum to provide portions of that for the use of amateur radio. And if you look at news items over the last few years, amateur radio operators have been of value to the public during Katrina, during the bombing of the Boston Marathon, during earthquakes in various parts of the world, because of hams all over the world. And a lot of ham radio operators live in Gilbert County. There's 178 licensed ham radio operators in Gilbert County. The terrain in Gilbert County makes it difficult to communicate with antennas that are close to the ground. And the current zoning ordinance is not really specific on ham radio antenna support structures. And that's what this is about, and we would ask that you approve this proposed change in order to allow us to be able to put up antenna structures that will actually work and work well.
So essentially, you're asking that ham radio antennas be exempted from that 42-foot height structure. Is that what?
Yes, so that's pretty much it. If you read the ordinance, at least appears to me that was originally intended for commercial operations. In fact, somewhere in there it uses the word broadcast, and amateur radios don't broadcast. We transmit broadcast where you only have information going out to somebody, not where it's back and forth. And this is just pretty much to clarify that ham radio antenna support structures shouldn't come under that commercial ordinance.
And what would a practical height in the type terrain we have be?
As high as you can get it, but I have not seen the specific language that's been proposed for this. I think the last time that we talked about it, we were talking about 120 feet. Probably most people would not want to put a support structure that tall because it gets too expensive.
I have seen.
Does FAA get involved at some point?
Only if it's over 200 feet.
200 feet.
I have seen other counties that are 70 or 80 or in their ordinances. I didn't look at a lot of them, but they're up in that 100-foot range. So that's the comment. The only other comment I'll make, and appreciate your comments, this actually has held up our because I'm a ham operator, ability to put up an antenna at our fire station for their use. That's number 3, is it?
Number two.
Number 2, excuse me. And so we are really handicapped slightly because of that location out there. So it has a direct relevance on the county, not just the citizens.
Dave, you had a question?
Yes, the only thing I was going to add with what Bill said is that in reference to the height limitation you had mentioned, now, there are certain frequencies that, according to the frequencies of use, and we have many different frequencies in the HF spectrum,
Height makes a difference. With one band, you may be able to do 70 feet for optimum transmission, another one you may need 120 feet or more to get that optimum transmission efficiency from the engine.
But basically, this would just eliminate the height restriction period. If I understand what this would say. Yeah.
We use the ham radio system as a backup radio system to our emergency operations center. So if there's a major disaster and we lose all power and radio communications here, we can pick up with the ham radio guys and we can keep on looking.
Very, very. It does affect us as a county operator.
Yes,
I agree.
Okay. Any other comments on that?
I think it's reasonable.
That's me.
And there's already a ceiling at 200 feet. So I don't know that we should impose a limit.
I don't think you should impose a limit, but I think maybe you should impose a setback so that you don't have a tower located on the property line. As far as the height, I don't see any issue there, but you might want to keep it to where if it were to fall over, it doesn't impose any danger to the neighbor.
That wouldn't be a problem from y'all's perspective.
For private residences, I think it is.
Yeah, just for example, personally, the current thing on the commercial towers is 200 feet from the property line. My property is not
Residential.
400 feet wide. So I got nowhere that I could put a tower if that 200 foot limit.
We would be talking about 200 feet for.
I just suggest a setback for installation be set back far enough. If it's an 80-foot tower, it be set back 80 foot from the property line. That way, if it fell over, it wouldn't cause any damage whatsoever. You wouldn't want to limit it to the location of an adjoining structure because they're entitled to come back in and build a storage shed or anything else up to a certain point. So if you just kept it to where, if it's an 80-foot tower, I don't think that would present a problem because then you've got 400 feet, you said, or how many feet in dimensions?
Well, I was just talking about me personally. I know there are amateur radio operators that have lived in the county, that live in the county now, that already have towers that are probably closer to the property line than the height of the tower.
Especially if they're in Kusawati.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I like the idea of the setback, but I don't know if it's feasible to have the setback be full height.
you would do it as 50% of the towers, or 75% of the tower.
Is that there's, I'm sorry.
Part of the tower's guide.
Some are, some aren't. It
If you
depends
get
on
over
the design of
100
the
feet, it
tower.
seems like you just about have to.
It depends on the design of the tower. But if you got a real tall tower that's not guided, it's going to be a really heavy structure.
So I guess what I was leading up to, is the guide system included in that, or is that to the base of the tower, base of the tower?
And that's just a suggestion, just to minimize the impact that it would have on.
There's still, for most of those, if it's a concrete base for foundation, the planning and zoning still going to have to do a permit for the construction, and they could make that judgment, I think, on what it demands or what it requires.
I don't want to spend a lot of time in this week discussing setbacks.
I think we can
It's
work
out
it
there
out.
and we can work it out.
And there'll be time for a hearing to go through all that.
And in terms of the height, we can discuss all that, but from what I'm hearing today,
No objection.
there's no objection on that.
Exactly.
I think it'll work out for you. Okay. So are we ready to move on?
I am.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, review pending action on resolution agreement with the Gilmer Arts. We don't have anybody here from Gilmer Arts. Did anybody get, they were supposed to send us an editable version of that, and I haven't received it yet. So I would say we just table this, and I'll get with them and find out.
They along with the, is it track? Is that the outlet on the tool?
Yeah.
Or we submitted documents for the county to?
Well, and I'm working with the track folks on this, that's not ready yet, but think on the Gilmore Arts, the only real question that we had was maybe editing the amount, possibly the source, but definitely the percentage of the amount. And we just need to edit the document.
Deconstructing it like the change.
Yeah, right. Exactly. This is not an urgent thing, so what I'll do is I'll just get with them and ask them to send it, and we'll, maybe they can send it in time for us for our meeting tomorrow. If they can, fine. If not, I don't see this as urgent item. So. That's what we do. All right. Now, the next item is going to be consideration of pictometry, and I see we've got all of our photos here for that. Unfortunately, I've reached my hour and a half limit. So we're going to take a 10-minute break.
Okay, good idea.
And then we will resume.
I was looking for a girly's cup, but I couldn't find one that was, what is that?
Secret Service.
Oh, hey, well, you're
How
good
did you
shape.
know about that?
You're good shape.
But I'm secure enough to have man, so I can take it early. I'm not opposed to that.
Hey, please.
How are you, Hubert?
Good.
That's when I get home, I will. I just see it. Then you look at my
Okay.
Pictometry.
Next item of business is going to be consideration of pictometry.
You know, if we allow drones here, we could do our own.
Oh, Travis.
No.
I second.
Not going there.
Turn that camera off.
We're not going there.
Then we're not going there, Travis.
All right, would y'all like to address the pictometry? In terms of the latest schedules, I think we're all pretty much committed that we'll build a pictometry.
Did we get the pricing straightened out okay?
Yeah, we got an email with pricing on it, but we can go over that.
Yes.
There was some questions, but.
Well, I had a question, but I might have been wrong. But,
No, we're good on that there. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so again, this type of aerial photography would be beneficial to multiple departments in the county. It wouldn't just be for the assessor's office, it would be something planning and zoning to use, the sheriff's department, probably even the fire department. It's going to allow that clear imagery that we're looking for versus now where we have certain sections of the county, like Cherry Log, that has a big cloud over it, so you can't see anything in that particular area. It's also going to allow that 3D imagery where it's going to help the sheriff's department where they're going to be able to actually see the structures and see points of interest, doorways, things of that nature. For the assessor's office, it's going to help us to be able to utilize in conjunction with our field work, being able to see if there's a 5-acre tract that has a house on it, we'll be able to know the distance, what it would take to get into some of these properties that are locked and we can't have access to, and we'll be able to see if any structural changes have been made. There were 2 options, the single wide.
You didn't include the road department in that discussion.
The road department's welcome to use it too.
we can spot potholes.
Thank you.
You could.
Was all that code words for they will pay for part of it?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm.
No.
I wanted to confirm.
It all comes out of the same pot.
I was just going to say, Ken, before you start shaking your head on the fire department, yes, what she's saying is it's part of your budget.
Yeah, why you voting?
So far, we've got it split.
I'm sorry.
You lost all your
support.
I know. I have a lot of people that are always eager to use the photography. Nobody just wants to pay for the photography. photography.
Well, here's the
User
thing.
fees are in today, so.
Here's the thing. We're committed to the pictometry, so
Right.
whoever's budget it comes from, just gonna get their budget up that much to begin with. I mean, so really, in my mind, to keep it simple, we just do it out of your budget, and we up your budget that amount, and then
And you'd be
it's
thinking
all
about
coming out,
sharing.
it's all coming out of the same pot.
It is,
So
and
why complicate?
right, exactly. And, you know, this is something the whole county can benefit from. Gilmer County hasn't paid for aerial photography since 2003. We have been using free satellite imagery, but, you know, I think this will be beneficial to multiple departments.
Will it be on Key Public, this one?
Yes. Now, what you won't be able to see as a user on Q Public is the actual, like, the 3D imagery. That's internal. That would be a license that would be installed on certain office department machines. And that would be only internally. But yes, Q Public will be able to have the benefit of this aerial photography.
Do we have a right to sell that imagery to private individuals?
Yes,
Like
as
real
far-
estate firms?
I would be opposed to doing that personally.
I can
I would
verify
see it
in
as
the
a privacy issue.
right.
If that's a question.
I can verify in the contract just to make sure. I believe that ability is out there, but if we choose not to, then I think we could adopt something that we David, to where we
Either
don't.
developers or real estate people, is that, can we get our money back?
If it's on Key Public, what difference does it make?
Well, not, she said,
Not
not,
3D.
not the 3D.
Oh, we don't need to sell the 3D.
No,
right?
no. And I don't think we'd actually be able to have the right to necessarily
That's a
sell that.
license.
They've got a copy.
So that, yeah.
But I think just whatever we push out to Q Public, if somebody wanted, you know, to buy that aerial photography, we could probably sell that.
I have a question in regard, of course, I have to ask. Who's hired this ocean? Tom was, it's the name of the company. How do they do this? With drones?
No, they actually have airplanes that they use, and they hang 3 different cameras from the plane. And do not ask me what kind of plane it is,
The
'cause I don't
reason
remember.
that, the reason that I asked the question, one of the things that the FAA has done, and you're going to see a lot of this in the very near future. The FAA has now come out with guidelines that allows drone activity for aerial photography and 3D.
Right.
So get ready, because it's here. It's not coming. It's here. And we had, just in the last couple of months, we had a professional photographer that actually did not live in the county, but they were doing practicing on their own property, adjacent, very close to the airport. Now, they came in, provided their license and everything, but it is here. It's not coming, it's here. So, Teresa, that's the reason I was asking the question, because what they're able to do is they're able to get to a level to where you can actually, you know, if you wanted to count the nails in a board, you could do it.
Have I mentioned that I hate drones?
No, you have mentioned that, sir. But
We won't be to that clarity yet. But,
There's 2 resolutions, if I recall, one in the rural part of the county and then in the more urban areas, it's a higher resolution.
Right,
Is that
yeah.
still?
that is still in here and in the pricing, mainly in the, we focus from Kusawati over into town, and that's going to be the 3-foot resolution. And then there's up in the northern part, in the Sisson area, there'll be where we have a lot of foliage and stuff. We focused on a smaller resolution there as well.
will it be fixed wing or rotor aircraft? Helicopters or airplanes?
Airplanes, and it has 3 different cameras on it, and they're rotating cameras, so that's how they're going to be able to capture all those imageries. It is not going to,
It's not going to be drone level, so you're not going to be able, it's not going to invade anybody's privacy. It's going to be a straight down shot is what everyone will see, very similar to Google Earth is what you're going to see on the website. So, and even what we're going to be able to see, you're not going to be able to see like somebody's bedroom window or anything like that. You're just going to be able to see outside structures, doors, windows, things like that. So it won't be, I know there was a concern before about privacy. So.
Well, that's still a concern that I have, but we're really not given an option
Right.
by the state.
Well, and again, I
But I
think,
would like to draw the line at drones.
yeah, there is no drones. These are actual airplanes with the cameras still on them. I believe, if I remember correctly from the presentation, there were 2 to 3 planes that they sent out in Gilmer County. The flight schedule is to have in December, we need to have a commitment in December to them so they can start flying.
When the foliage is off.
Yeah, when the foliage is off, so depending on our weather, it may be late January, early February, but they have to go ahead and get us scheduled and put on the roster.
What kind of aircraft? Joyce?
I'm not an airplane person.
The kind that flies.
It's one of those that can carry 3 cameras.
It doesn't need diesel fuel.
Well, I'm going to top in the military, and,
I will
there's a
give
big
you,
difference.
I will give you that.
Thank you.
Just
So the decision that we'll make tomorrow night would just be simply to go forward and give these folks notice that, yes, we're going to accept their offer and get us on the schedule.
Right, and let me point out one thing, Jim, you'll like this. They have rapid access disaster. So for one time, during this 3-year period, if we have, they have a disaster response program, an emergency response. So if there's an emergency or natural disaster, they will refly that area of the county for free.
What sort of plane do they propose to use for that?
Mine with 2 propellers.
Actually, it not require IFR.
Okay.
Just for the record, though, there's 10,000 hits a day that people going in to look, probably at their own or the bank, but this thing is used. It's not just like for us, it's used.
You're talking about QPO?
Beg pardon?
Yes.
When you say 10,000 hits a day, you're talking about QPO?
Look at it, Art.
The National Forest Service, a lot of your federal and state agencies have started using this.
I'm not giving it to them.
You don't have to give it to them, they take it.
Dallas, what was your question?
I wanted to know what other companies offer this service, and do you have a contract in hand now?
I don't have it in hand. I emailed it. I can share that to you.
That's what I mean. You
Okay.
You got it, so.
I thought I sent it to you.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I thought we passed it on.
It's been 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's been a while, but, because that's the one that went around where I was saying that I thought it was only going to
Is that what you
6
said?
weeks, not what you went in, and you were saying, the contract
That's just
should
it.
have been
I'm fine with
attached. But I can resend it, that's not.
No, if that came around, I got it.
Okay, or I can resend it as well. There were 2 options as far as the pricing. There was a single flight summary, which was $69,744.50. That would just be a one-time flight. It's recommended to do the multi-flight summary. That's actually going to save us money on that first flight. It takes the first flight to $55,078. It's a little over $14,000 savings. There is an opt-out clause. When you sign that contract, you're actually signing for both flights, but there is an opt-out clause that on the 4th year from now, if we're not ready to fly or if the county doesn't have the money to fly, then we can postpone it. And if we get to a point where, because the multi-flight is a 6-year program. So if we get to a point on the 4th or 5th or 6th year and the county says, okay, we can't afford it, we can't do the second flight, then that opt-out clause allows us to come out with no penalty and no back payments. So we actually get the benefit of this lower cost by signing to do the 6-year program.
So it's 69,000 a year
No, 69,000 total.
total for the
Payable
total.
over 3 years.
Payable over 3 years. If we do the multi-flight option, that first flight is around $18,000 per year. They do ask that before January 15th that we put down about $4,500, but they said they can work with that with us because they know our new budget technically doesn't start till January 1st. So they wouldn't take us off the flight roster if we didn't have the payment by the 15th.
The main thing now is just getting on their calendar.
Yeah, they just need a commitment, a written commitment from us, so that way they can schedule us.
Where are these schools located?
They are actually here in Georgia, and then they have other offices throughout. They are, I cannot remember offhand how many counties they've flown in Georgia.
There's quite a few. I
Yeah.
don't remember the number, but it's quite a few.
Well, given
They've
the,
already done this far.
My contact rep is actually local, he's in Woodstock, so.
given the opt-out provision of it, I don't see why we wouldn't go ahead and do it.
Right.
Okay, so we'll, then tomorrow night, we can take whatever action you get on it.
David, you gonna ask your question?
Yeah, the only question I have is the ability to fit it in the charter because of the amount of the contract. Because it's $60,000 contract, which is in excess of the $20,000 requirement that we necessarily have to do.
Are there other people who offer this?
Yes, there are other companies. I think when we started this,
That first year, I think we looked at 3.
yeah, and they were hands down the cheapest price.
This was the best of the 3.
The only problem is to arrive at that best, you need to really go through their bidding process and allow it to be publicly let for bid, and then otherwise you're not following the charter. It's not professional services that I know of because it's not a licensed operation that is not regulated by the state other than the fact that you got a pilot's license to conduct the activity. I don't think it's going to fit within, I know it's within legal, and I don't think it's a consultant because it's not necessarily providing consulting services, it's providing so it's simply imagery. That's my only thing is if y'all.
So we need to.
And the charter refers to total cost, not annual install.
Well,
I mean, we are under 20,000 annually.
if the contract can be drafted in such a manner that it's $18,000 a year and it has the kick out, you have to have a kick out for each year because remember we're dealing with the multi-year.
For 3 years.
And then again, they could be considered non-proprietary services, which would exempt it from that statute. If you can have it drafted in such a manner that it's below 20 on the calendar year, I guess you could work it that way.
It would be.
It's $18,359.33 per calendar year.
I haven't seen the contract. Is that how it's structured?
I hate to say it, but that reminds me of some prior things we've done other than 20,000.
Yeah, the contract actually shows 121. That's what I was thinking. It breaks it down on a payment schedule, whereas your contract really will need to reflect that it's X amount of dollars, which is below 20 calendar year 1, and then this amount instead of having a single lump sum.
How soon do we have to get it?
Why can't we bid on this?
We just need to have a commitment by at least the second week of December.
Okay, so let's just
Let's just bid it and get it done.
Be done in a month.
Yeah.
So then the decision we'll make tomorrow night will be a motion to bid this out. We'll put it on next month's agenda, and we'll get on their schedule.
I don't think it can be, your bid period's going to be 2 weeks, and then
this goes out on the paper that's published on the 14th, which we can get it in for that week. And then it runs again on the 21st. So do we got plenty of time to get it on the October agenda.
Do you have a proposal that you could, I mean, do you have a proposal put together that y'all submitted to the different vendors in this situation?
I believe we used the one, just the same proposal we used back in 2003, but I'm sure we could.
Does it set out what you're looking for from that vendor and how they are to make that deal?
I think they'll do what you're talking about.
This was started by my predecessor, so I'll have to pull his notes to see if he had an official proposal out there.
That would be the only thing.
Even if we don't get it in until the 21st edition and run it again on the 28th edition, we still got 2 weeks before our next meeting.
When we talked with those folks before, they seemed flexible about getting on their calendar, but that wasn't a firm commitment if something happened.
Right,
So I
exactly.
think we can go ahead and get on their calendar and buy some time. Is there a problem with that?
Get on their calendar?
Yeah, without committing?
Yeah, that's essentially awarding a bid without.
Probably create a problem with their competitors.
I just don't see the problem at the time.
No, I don't either.
If we wait until if we get this out on the 21st, it gives us a week to put together the proposal. And it runs on the edition of the 21st.
And the 28th.
And then the 28th.
Then we got,
When are you
Then
gonna
our
open
next
the bids?
meeting
When are
is
you
the-
opening the bids?
Well, we can open our bids anytime.
day before our meeting.
28th.
You could open them on, I do it the week of the meeting, which would be the 10th or the 11th.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that's,
That'd be your bid opening process. Normally it's 2 o'clock. Kim will work with you on time.
okay, so we advertise it on the week of the 21st and the 28th. And Kim and Teresa will get together on the wording of the ad and send that to David for approval. We'll open them on the 10th for our work session on the 12th and our meeting on the 13th. That looks to me like we've got plenty of time. Does that work for everybody? Because I really would like to get it on the October agenda.
Well, let me ask one more question. I mean, we've got so many dynamics involved on this econometry. Is this something that, because as it stands, we could restructure the contract, make it a $20,000 a year limit, less than 20.
I don't think.
If a competitor were to be lower than your selection here, is that a problem?
I think what we found, and that's why we geared towards pictometry, was we found that other competitors don't offer this type of aerial photography as far as with the 3D imagery. What you get from them is just the straight down imagery.
So
Depends on our value requirement.
David, here's a question.
We could amend the charter in the next couple of months.
Get out of here.
No.
You know, that was in
Would
there.
it be
I
considered?
know why that was in there.
It was
I know why that went on.
That's the commissioners. Y'all can keep it under
If we do the bid specs, including 3D, would that be bid fixing?
No, we're actually looking.
You're the same.
I know we want that, but it could be construed as tailoring it for a specific vendor.
So what?
Well, if David's fine with that, that's the way to do it. We have to
You
find
know
out.
what we want. I need it.
If somebody came in and had all the stuff and it was cheaper, I'd be for it.
Fact is, I mean.
So just put in your bid specs what you want.
Put whatever you want in your specs and let the market determine.
Well, I asked David that some time in the past, and he kind of shot me down with
I
I don't remember what it was, but I asked a similar question, and he said no.
If they're the only ones that do 3D, would that be considered for project?
I can't imagine like that.
If
Well, then let me
we,
just
if we
give you
want
a
3D,
number
do we
for
really
the
care if they're the only ones that do it? I mean, so we take.
Yeah.
Just be careful in your bid specs.
Well, the vendors we talked to, they're just, for the quality of what you're getting, these are the people. I mean, and that's why they've done so many in Georgia, plus they are in Georgia country, they're right here. And that's part of this, why it's cheaper.
This unfortunately, Mitchell, is a handcuff that is, the commissioners have to operate under. It's the charter.
Can you find other counties that bid this and what their bid proposal was?
Absolutely.
They've got spectrometry specifically.
But now,
We'll
I
pay
think,
for ours.
I think Mitchell said this, if somebody out there can give us a comparable product at a lesser price, I'm not tied into pictometry. Give it to them as far as I'm concerned.
I'll take it.
I think that the expectation is that there's probably nobody out there that can provide everything that these folks can, whatever the price.
But in comparative data, you have to stay with objective comparison. You can't have a subjective on reputation, those types of things.
Well, I mean, y'all can get into some elements that are beyond, but that proposal does need to be written with the specific intent to be directed at
That's
one
the point.
vendor. It needs to be generic. Y'all don't need, I mean, what you need is aerial photography. We got to satisfy the state, and then you'd like to have that 3D on the backside of
And
it.
you can specify resolution.
And let me ask this.
Is that 3D a state requirement?
No, it's just something that's offered.
It's beneficial in certain areas and certain circumstances.
Absolutely, I'd love to have, well, 3D, folks, is not a unique thing, because in, the military uses three-dimensional aerial photography every day. And what they have to do is the flights, and the gun's going to be flown in grids. But what you have is you're taking photos and then you interpret it through a stereoscope. That's how you get the 3D. Now, apparently these folks have developed a way to get that 3D imagery without you having to physically look through a stereoscope to get that 3D effect. 3D aerial photography is not a new concept. It's been around for a lot of years. But now what these folks are able to do, I'm very interested in my flood control valves. If I can see that lake and that dam in 3D image, then I don't have to send people out there to check on it to see if you've got a spillway plug or something like that. I can look at it. So,
Except
It's not in real time.
Right, it's not real point in time.
It's a snapshot in time, it's not in real time.
So for a year, you can get.
well, but for, yeah.
If Charlie authorizes 3D video of anybody that takes care of it, it's real time. It ain't gonna work.
But-
You can imagine you stepping out on your porch.
Well, no, wait a minute. Maybe I misunderstood.
What do you do?
But what-
There are 6 flights
Okay.
that they
No.
would fly.
There's 2 flights over a 6-year period.
Oh, excuse me.
Sorry.
Okay, here's the thing. If 3D is what we want, we should not be able to put that in our bid
Absolutely.
process just because they're the only ones that might provide it.
No.
We can move on.
Absolutely, we're good.
I just have one more question. I want to make sure, because we've learned this in the past. We can also put in the bid proposal a time frame that the imagery has to be delivered by. Because
Sure.
You need to have.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is one of the things about
That's
this
crucial.
company as well, is they have a quick turnaround. I think it's a 90-day turnaround from the day of the flight.
Absolutely.
Time frame is sensitive at this point in time.
Absolutely.
Because I think that was the challenge we ran into with some other companies, is they could not meet that turnaround. It was going to be 6 to 8 months, and by then your aerial one was a year old, so.
We want to use it ASAP.
Do we have any other costs associated with that, getting it into public? Or get it implemented once they give us the database?
No, our yearly fee with Q Public includes the aerial photography.
Dallas, you got lots of battery life on that PC, don't you? On that laptop?
Yeah, pull it out. Go
Is
ahead.
that you?
Yeah, that's it.
Because I'm out.
I think we're good.
Okay, so tomorrow night, then what we'll do is authorize the bid. Is that where we are?
Yeah.
Authorize to advertise. Okay, then, moving on. Approval of the lease agreement with Gilman County. Okay, so we'll have to add it to the agenda to advertise tomorrow night for something. Workshop today.
Discussion only on.
It's only on my
Will that be a problem?
No, not for bids.
Okay. So we'll add this to the agenda. Assuming there's no other general discussion, we'll go to the approval of the lease agreement with Gilman County Boys and Girls Club. Thank you, guys. Thank you. We've had some information that's come to light very recently that we're going to check on. I reviewed our lease with Georgia Power for that location, and they specify that in order to add any improvement there to that property, that we have to have their approval, their written approval. And that is in progress, more or less. But Kevin is telling me today that there are portions of that property out there that Georgia Power has actually deeded over to the county, and I was not aware of that. And so the question is, A, we need to get documentation on that, and B, does that cover the portion that we're thinking of, which he believes it does, in which case we would not need Georgia Power's approval. So, since this is not, something super urgent here, what I would say is we just need to, maybe we can find this out by tomorrow night. I don't know. Do we have this on the agenda for tomorrow night? Okay. Maybe we can find this out by tomorrow night. If we can, that would be great, one way or the other. If not, we'll probably need to carry it over to the October meeting so that we can actually verify whether or not the county owns this property or leases it from Georgia Power. Is everybody okay with that?
Is our county clerk have some information to verify that?
You know that? No, Sue?
If it's
Clerk.
deeded,
She's clerk to share court.
but it's deeded. Oh, excuse me.
No, I don't.
No,
She didn't speak up. Well, I have asked Kevin to get the plats for these, and so I charged him with that this morning, so that's what we're going to need to do. Now, he read a letter to me from Ms. Sears at Georgia Power, who is the lady that we worked with when we were signing the lease last year. He read a letter to me this morning from her stating that portions of that property have been deeded over.
This shows 15 acres up there in Gilman County.
Can you tell whether it covers this particular location?
Right where you're looking at.
Well,
Where's the status?
that's, what's the name of that, going out Legion Road. So the volleyball court is right there. I don't know where that line would be. The saddle club's probably right there. Possibly on that line, but it's showing that it's 15 acres.
Okay, well,
Go down one block.
Go ahead, do it if you want.
I just want to see the next block down below it.
You have Lions Club, Saddle Club, and the Saddle Club, as I understand, is a lease.
That's what that was.
And there is a portion there that
What was
deeded to
Oh, no, here's Legion Road, that's up to the school.
So that's a civic center.
Well, that's the area we're in.
That's a civic center right there. I don't know what this is.
Charlie, I actually believe, I did research on this years ago. The area where the civic center, swimming pool, the old fire stations, I think that it has been deeded to the county. The area that the Boys and Girls Club, as I understand, was requesting was across the parking lot from the civic center, actually in that lower area. I don't believe that has been deeded to the county. But
So that's that area, Jim, can you look right here? Yeah. And so there's a civic center, there's a ball field.
yeah, here, see, this area right here, I think is deeded, but where the Boys and Girls Club is wanting to build their facility is,
Because I don't know how far it comes down.
But that's a ball field right there, right?
yeah, it's on the leased property. We had to get permission for every one of these ball fields to be.
But they couldn't be building on the ball field.
No.
It's probably in this tract.
I think it is, right there.
I think it's right in here.
Up here by the road.
Yeah, you know, this looks like, and I'm looking at a picture that was provided to us with the lease. At the time we were reviewing the lease on it. And it looks like it goes right up to the Civic Center. The Georgia Power property goes right up to the Civic Center. I believe this is the arrow. I believe this is the Civic Center and this is.
That's right.
So the green is where the Georgia Power property starts.
That's right.
So it looks to me like, unless the setback is an issue, that we would be able to do this.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought the Boys and Girls Club were wanting it in here.
There's not enough room between that
Parallel
fence and the road.
down there, 1,000.
It'd have to be on our land.
They want to put it parallel to this structure here.
Oh, parallel to that
This is
structure.
the old Parks and Rec office
Yes,
here where the
yes,
equipment is.
the old fire
And they
station.
want to just come up from that toward the road and put it
Right.
even with that, but it would come back.
Our ground.
Yeah, but it would come back a little further than what this does. But this is, it looks to me like where the green starts is right here at this ball field, and that there would be room to put it.
The rule of thumb that we used was the fill area. You can clearly see a defined area where the elevation was raised to construct the civic center, the old fire station, park and rec offices, the 911 office. That was the area that was filled, and I think it was deeded to the county fee simple. Don't hold me to that.
Well, I mean,
That appears to be the case.
it does look like that here, looking at the drawing that they provided
Yeah.
with this. The only question is just where exactly that line is, and I think to Travis's point, we're just gonna have to have them try and shoot that line.
I think that'd be a good idea.
And then we'll have to, what sort of setback would we be working with there?
You might not have to have that shot, because if that was equal to the county, there might be more conservative.
Well, that's what Kevin's supposed to be looking at.
The assessor's office would have that information, have it up and accelerate that, so let's go to the, I can't do it on the new one, so.
Dallas, have you got the picture there?
Turn it off.
I thought it was wrong.
Yeah, turn it off, and then I can look at it. Now go right here to your desk, and then what was the address there?
I should have paid attention. I have my order today, we'll find it.
Was it 1,500 and something? 1,562, I think. It's, yeah, 1,560 something.
Well, let's just see where the track is. And
That's,
then,
you can't tell on that line, it's over the top.
28.
Show what? No, that's the middle short.
Oh, sorry. 15.
This is what they gave us for lease, and you see the civic center here, the swimming pool there. The green is where the Georgia Power project starts. So clearly, a portion of where the Boys and Girls Club wants to put their building is on that property. The question is, they're wanting to go back further than what this building is here. So how far back, where exactly does the screen start? It's not clear to me from that picture.
Card itself. And you scroll down. And you scroll. There's no sales information, which means that this was done before they updated their computer. But there's going to be a card, tax assessor's card, and it will show you the e-booking page, the platform reference. As far as setbacks, Charlie, that's going to be, that's city property, so it's going to be controlled by the city in some respects.
Okay.
Well, the question, I guess, it was up with.
It is general commercial, and I think it's a 15-foot setback on general commercial in the city. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I think that's what it is.
The question is then, do we need to shoot the line or don't we?
Again, establish a survey, and then you might actually be able to find your corners out there once you get your survey. And that might not be necessary.
So it depends on what Kevin can come up with.
I mean, Shannon might can help with that as far as looking.
It's located in the corners?
Just corners, if you can locate them out there.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Take a metal detector and a flat.
He was nervous to answer that because I have tried, I scolded him probably for about 2 years about don't you come.
Well, if it's for us, I mean, we can probably find something
Then you
Okay.
Well, at least it's all set first before we pay that survey.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
we ready
Got metal
to,
detector? Got that.
we ready to move on then to the next item? Which would be approval of EMS ambulance transport fee structure. So let me get back to my.
You can't do what did you? Hope it's different. It won't open that way.
Okay. Does anybody
That's clear.
have any comments? Tony, does this look good to you?
I don't think I've seen these very fine copy here.
Yeah, and this was, this would be a change to you now. Tony, this is the Hall County one that I had shared with you that Brad located, and the only changes that I made to was just the substitution of Hall or with Gilmer. Didn't insert anything other than that non-transport, which says each successive non-transport is $100. I think y'all need to establish a fee structure though for your insurance claim, so you got something in there, but, and Dallas was pointing something out with respect to it being a restricted fund in all of this, and that's entirely up to y'all as to whether you want to make that.
The fees from this?
Yes.
I'm not in favor of making that a restricted fund specifically.
Well, that's an easy enough fix.
Well, y'all agree to it, I didn't.
Well,
We don't
it's not gonna
restrict
generate-
EMS funds at all.
That's right. I don't foresee it generating that revenue to be applied.
Now, this is
No, I
not,
don't
this
either.
encompasses more than beyond the $100. It also encompasses the regular transports that would be reimbursed by insurance.
We do not want that.
No, that's the general fund.
Everybody else.
Can't
henceforth and forevermore.
So, again, anything y'all wish to change can be stricken from there. I suggest you establish the fees today, and then it provides that it can be changed on recommendation of the chief and by adoption of a resolution by
Yeah,
y'all.
yeah,
So,
and that's it. Yeah. Let me ask you this. We talked about these fees and the false alarm situation. And it talks about a commercial alarm system or a residential alarm system. But what happens where those go directly to 911, I believe? But what about those that come through a alarm monitoring company? Same situation?
They all go to an alarm monitoring company. Nothing goes directly to 911.
Well, our wording here might need to reflect that.
Yeah, I mean, I can change it. This is just a draft.
There were some old systems a long time ago that were directly wired into the central monitoring of 911 that doesn't exist.
And that's the way this was worded, as if it were that system. So I think that's a change we need to have David make.
We managed to set ours off about twice a year.
Did somebody respond?
Well, they call.
Mine goes off about once.
But they call us and we tell them, no, it's false alarm, we give them a code and
Right.
they dispatch.
The place where we really have the issue is a lot of these folks that the fire alarm will go out and the alarm system company will try to contact the property owner and they won't answer their phone, or if they do answer their phone, they're wherever else and they say, we don't care, if you want to find out what it is, send the fire department. So we end up going out there and the property check over and over and over and they just don't care.
And you can't always find.
Absolutely.
Now, let me ask another question. This should apply countywide, not necessarily unincorporated only?
Well, the
What do we
fire
do about
department
calls
responds
from
to
the city?
East Ellijay, and such, the services agreement, I don't know that it would provide for the incorporation list, but y'all do provide fire suppression services for the entirety of the municipality, city of East Ellijay.
And anything that, I mean, we impose all the fire code in the city of East Ellijay now, so anything we currently have already applies to them because we already provide that service.
So I think of the Service Delivery Strategy Act, I think that this one would be, you could incorporate these fee structures as to the city of East Ellijay. However, as to Ellijay, that's going to be.
They're their own, because they have their own department.
We have to revisit that document.
Well, yeah, but
Service agreement.
this talks about only
10 years. 10 years, I think.
You can do it more
We
often.
can amend it though.
Yeah, you can do it.
As needed.
We just learned that in class last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The service delivery strategies?
Yeah,
I thought it was 3 years.
it's 10 years.
I know, but I thought.
No, what they were talking about was, there were a number of them that goes that 10 years, maybe 3 years out, or within the next 3 years. And I think we're one of those, I think.
I think we had 3 years, within the 3 years. I thought.
But Travis's point though, we don't have to wait for 10 years.
No, right.
Amend as needed.
But my point was that this change here, this is written as being unincorporated county only. And that's not really correct because of East Ellijay.
Where is the wording that we do that?
Second page, paragraph A, response or definition. There's one place, I'm not sure where else.
Where are you? On page 2?
Page 3, I apologize. Paragraph A is the top.
Unincorporated.
There
It
may
does
be,
say that.
there may be somewhere else, I didn't look for that specifically, except for right there.
I could change that where it says it's activated in the unincorporated area of Goodman County or municipal corporate limits under the jurisdiction of Goodman County.
Yeah. That's good, that's good. Yeah.
What was the other change?
Well, we're talking about this.
Yeah, I got that one.
I didn't ever know. There may be another place for that unincorporated, but that's the only one I
Now,
remember.
these are two different ordinances here, so I don't want you to read them through. this one is an alarm system and this one is an ambulance.
Yes, 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 yes.
The thing I'm wondering about
The
is,
good thing about the alarm system portion of it is most of this is directly tied to NFPA, which is the national standard, so we're not really rewriting anything.
No.
It's nothing different from what anybody else does.
I don't have, yeah, and I don't have any comments or things of concern about that, except, like I said, for the unincorporated.
this talks about new systems must be registered within 10 days. What about old existing? How do you, 99% of them are going to be old.
I do, yeah, that's a good question. Do they, since they come through monitoring, well, I don't think we really do anything.
Why do they have to be registered at all?
Yeah, I don't know why we do.
I mean, I can see that back when you went straight to 911.
Right.
And that was the other change that we were gonna make on this.
Yes.
Having changed that, where it's not going straight to 911, why would we insist that they're registered?
There's no real purpose.
I don't see anything registered.
So I think it's paper registration, that's complete.
That's not much more than.
Tonight, all y'all would be doing is authorizing
This one,
well, yes, that's correct. So the security equipment, the alarm system, wouldn't necessarily, but it'd be the advertising. So, your alarm system, you can further discuss. And, because this just got in, you probably got late last week.
All right, so in terms of the ambulance fees,
Could I just add one more and leave the alarm stuff? What do you do about automobile alarms? Yeah, everybody's got, not everybody, there's a lot of automobile alarms that go off and people weren't responding to those. You do not respond ever?
I don't even know that car alarms going off, people get dispatched to the police.
with the car alarm, it's just however far you can hear it. It's not being.
Well, not when it goes on star.
Okay.
Okay, you're talking about alarm start.
I'm talking about an alarm
For emergency.
Yeah.
We don't get dispatched. You know, I can't think of maybe 1 or 2 times we've ever even got an on-star call. Yeah.
But they're putting those in everybody's car now, so it's going to become a future problem.
The thing is about the OnStar alarms is you have to physically push the button, and if that alarm comes through, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a real emergency. So there will be no.
But that's not true today. If I have a crash and my airbag goes off, that will respond.
Well, but if you had a crash and airbag went off, that would be a viable emergency.
Yes.
I mean, there should be a response to that. Which would
You
require.
wouldn't consider, it wouldn't be a fault.
It wouldn't be false or a negligent activation. It would be an airbag before.
But if it's just a theft alarm, we don't deal with it.
Well, they're not reported in any way other than the audible and.
No, it does. It goes to the satellite, it goes to the monitoring system.
So what does OnStar do then when it gets that monitoring system?
They call the appropriate.
I'm just asking whether there's anything we need to consider.
So the real question is, when 911 gets a call from OnStar for a possible theft alarm, do they actually dispatch
Yeah,
it?
that's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, if they dispatch on it, we gotta go,
And
right?
as far as the theft one, that'd be more of a sheriff question.
Yeah, it is.
But if they dispatch on it,
Yeah, you gotta go.
somebody's gotta go.
Right.
So, yeah, but I agree with Tony. I think that's a sheriff question. And it's a 911 question. If you get a theft alarm from OnStar, do you actually dispatch them? Because most of those theft alarms are just, somebody banged up against the car. I can twist wrong in my chair and this thing will set off my.
I know, you can push your alarm accidentally, do it. Yeah, that's a false alarm.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to face that someday, and maybe a sheriff does keep right.
And a lot of this, common sense is going to prevail on this. And it's not like we're going to be looking for every
We
instance.
can't have that.
Well, I mean, I hear you. The situations we're talking about are habitual blatant abuse.
I would say this is fine as it is, and I understand what you're saying, but I think that's going to be something that's going to take a few years to become an issue, and we can
fine tune it at that point.
All right, you got fee numbers?
I do have our latest fee numbers, but I don't have them from the right this second, so I can bring those to plug them in. Because that just actually changed, because the thing about that is that has to fluctuate based on what Medicaid and Medicare is willing to pay. So it does change from time to time, so I have to pull our latest fee numbers.
Can we have that for the meeting tomorrow night?
Yes, I can get that for you.
How often do they change?
Sometimes it's yearly, it just depends. Sometimes it's based on the individual claim.
Would we be screwed up to live language to allow it to automatically float?
I think the fact that David mentioned that we could change this by, if we arranged it before we change it by resolution, we probably.
Yeah, it's once a year.
I think y'all really need to know that the structure's changed. So for instance, Medicaid decides that they're no longer going to reimburse 80%, they're now going to only reimburse 20%. That's a legislative impact to y'all, because you no longer have, you lost 60%. So I think really probably should still retain control over that.
But we do it in such a way that we can make it by resolution.
By resolution.
Right. Okay. Anything else on this? We have a zoning request from John E. Bogan. C1 commercial to R1 residential low density with conditional use. Shannon, you want to give us a quick recap on that?
Yeah, this one here, if you look back at the, I believe it was the last page, it shows the zoning map. Somehow that parcel is zoned commercial currently. I'm not exactly sure how it ended up that way, but nevertheless, he owns the adjacent property to it. He just wants to rezone the commercial portion to residential, combine it with the larger parcel that is, like I said, the junk is on the rear, and then he does want conditional use, which he wants to include some llamas, a few llamas on the property. We did not have any opposition at all at the planning commission meeting, and the board voted unanimously to approve. You can see in that color coded the zoning map there, the white parcel, or the 110, the parcel colored in white would be what he would be combining that with.
Does that 26-acre tract, is that residential with conditional use?
Yes, it would be to combine, and then both would be
all of them?
Yes, the whole parcel then would be.
It's already conditional use, we would just be granting that to the combined portion as well.
I know, that's the question I had. I don't think it's conditional use today.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is?
The R1 parcel is.
That's what I was thinking.
He's just combining, rezoning the commercial portion combined with the 26 acres.
So he's making the
And
2
then-
acres match conditional use and residential with the 26 acres.
Exactly.
So we're combining it for
So we're not
the same
changing.
conditional use to it as the rest of it.
That's exactly right. Be the same use on the whole piece of property after it's combined. And it'll be zone R1.
Any other questions, anything else on that?
I appreciate including the minutes, by the way.
I would be the planning commission. Yeah, we've started doing that on all of them.
Okay.
And we don't have to do anything, but it's going to push the conservation, which we don't care.
Not on that part, no. He'll handle that strictly with police.
Okay, anything else on this one?
I'm good.
All right, the next one is BJ Reese, R1 residential low density to A1 agricultural.
It's in the sea of agriculture.
It is, and there was, David had a little concern with this one because some of the plat, it is a little different. We had to track some plats back and do a little research on it, right? I'm sure David, you looked into it a little bit more as well, but I feel confident that we found what we needed. If you look back at the zoning maps on them, he's requested to rezone 2 parcels, which is 315406H, 006H and 006A. They're side by side. There's, like I said, there's 2 pages. They would each be highlighted in red. He has already combined, well, he's had a survey done to combine them, which should be included in the package there. But David and myself had a conversation about, there was just a little discrepancy up front on the way the 3.96 acre parcel kind of sit in there. But anyhow, I've got the map, maybe I don't want to be tracking back, but that's the one that I found that shows, I think it's the portion that me and you were concerned with. And then, of course, 3.96 is right in here, and then the 5.87 will sit right over here, and then Anderson Creek runs right under that here. And then you come to, there's the 1 acre parcel too that I've also got a plat of that was cut out in 01, which would be prior to the adoption of the ordinance.
Is that like the 39?
It's this one right here. Should be that one. Should have been the.
It's this one, the plat book 39.
No, that's this.
Yeah.
That's this. That was also a question of yours right there as well.
It's this one. The line.
Where's that?
Well, what's happening here is, let me see if I can get this situated. This line on this survey here, and that is probably going to be hard for y'all to actually discern, but this one is a southeast line, and its predecessor is a southwest line, or a northeast line. So you can see it looks like it's going to create a problem here. You can see this is the creek.
Yeah,
right here.
right.
See, this line leans this way. Let me exaggerate it.
Right.
And this line leans this way. What I was concerned about is this right here, this little bitty lot right here. We were doing something to cause a problem with potentially causing or creating by the consolidation and the combination of these was creating a lot that would have not been approved of record. And that's what this, see, I don't think on the assessor's website.
It would have been this one?
Yeah, see, it's not matching. Something just.
Well, that map is, David, you know what else I do, that map is not always accurate. More times than not, it's not accurate.
Right, and I realize that. It just didn't match up, and that was the concern I had, is because this is this piece right here, which Chair Log had actually combined all of these here. And again, this line leans one way, and this line leans the other.
It is a little bit squirrely, but this plat here, when we went back and found it, and then you lay this one in here, which is this lot, right here. This is this green parcel that splits right up, runs around the bottom here, runs right up between these two. This 3 acres is this.
Yeah, this is the track, this line right here that's in question. This,
the last residential parcel.
Last residential. That's what I was concerned about is by combining these two, was this parcel being left out by itself, and as such wouldn't have been an approved lot of record because of the fact that it wouldn't have met the criteria or the standards. That's the concern. But if this has been recorded and that reflects that,
I think that's what we've come up with. Along, there was quite a bit of looking into this data after me and you spoke about.
4617A though, and this one shows 30. And this one only shows deed book 1515, which is after the adoption of the ordinance. So that was, again, that's the biggest concern. It's nothing to do with reflect to the applicant's request, because that's definitely agricultural out there and everything. It's just was this being left out in such a manner that it was creating a new lot for it. Are y'all following me on that?
No, well, no, because I don't even follow you on that.
Okay, let's just say you got 20 acres, or let's say you got 2 tracts of 10 acres apiece. You elect to combine the 10 acre tract and then take 9 acres of the 10 acre tract, or that was 10 acres and combined, so you've got 19 acres. I'm worried about that 1 acre that would not have necessarily met the, because if this is a residential area, it would have had to have 3 acres.
What does that show?
1.5, rather, 1.5.
What does that, what is the acre, is that a 1 acre parcel?
I don't know.
Yeah, right. We don't have an acreage on that,
Yeah, it's
but
1.5.
Well, my question to you is, it's already in that situation, if that situation exists.
These you can't always, this might not necessarily have a number identified with it.
But his request that we're considering, I don't understand how that impacts what I'm saying.
Because you,
If that situation exists, it exists today.
well, what, I guess what Travis is saying, this would be one thing, and if this was cut out wrong, we'd have to go after that as a zoning
But
violation.
it's already an issue.
no, I don't, what I'm concerned about though is there's something going on with this line here, so is there something being added to this one? And that's the problem, is it's just, you're not combining the totality, it doesn't appear looking at the surveys of the entire acreage out there.
So you're saying you're going to end up with a tiny little slip.
I don't know, it's hard for me to
If
tell.
they move the boundary line enough, is what you're saying, David.
Yeah, and that's what, it merited further
It
investigation.
just doesn't seem that way to me, though. According to this plat, that was recorded in 2008. This property is existing. It's this one, 1.4 acres.
Yeah, I know.
You got this, that line right up, no problem at all. Right here is where I'm getting
But there is a
at.
discrepancy.
The creek splits the two. I just,
But you've got 2 surveyors, and one is one line going this way and the other line's going this way. There is an issue there. And, you know, as much as I like this surveyor personally, I'm concerned about that. That's the thing. But it shouldn't impact y'all as far as your decision, but it might very well be leaving an issue out there that could potentially surface at a later date.
As I understand it, if we were to decline this, there still might be an issue out there.
Right.
Come up with
That's my point.
But again, even if you were,
But until-
and I'm not suggesting that you decline it, that's the last thing that I'm suggesting, but what I'm saying is activity that you do here in this body, if you create an isolated parcel that's not a parcel of record, it doesn't comply with the line ordinance, you violate the zoning ordinance, and that's the problem I have.
you just, David, I hate to disagree with you because you know I love you to death, but I think there's no problem. I don't think there's problems. There's 3 pins set here, there's 3 pins set here.
The problem is this one goes northeast and Joel, and then you got it going northwest.
What do you're talking about?
This here, and this here is northwest. That's a huge discrepancy between 2 surveys.
Yeah, but that line is this line.
No,
This property line.
no, this is right here. This is actually right in this area right here.
See, I'm thinking this line is this line. See, where the dog legs right here runs up here to this corner. This is this line. This right here. Now, I may be wrong.
Yeah, now I'm not sort of the wrong one here too.
I know what you're
Just like this.
There just might be a gore area that's being created out there. Just
So how do we,
Well,
are
is our action under consideration creating it? It sounds like if it exists, it already exists.
It's hard to make sense of it out there. That's the problem.
Well, we run into a lot of stuff we've done land use ordinance approved, different combination of different plats, different surveyors. It's not always just picture perfect, but we researched this. I did talk to Dave about it. He brought his concern up to me, so I went back and we dug deep. And as far as I pulled plats on every parcel. Now, whether or not there's some little off in the line, I'm not sure, but I don't see a single thing.
This is part of that big piece on that part there. It's not cut out.
Yeah, on this piece here, I think this is the plat that I pulled that kind of cleared it up for me, was this parcel, this little piece right in the center that's green right here is agricultural. It shows on this original 87-acre parcel, which jumps the road and encompasses the property on the opposite side. But when you take that plat and you line up the 3.96 that he brought in for rezoning, and then the 5-acre parcel, which is this 5.87, this is the two he's wanting to rezone right here. And then right here. It's this parcel and this parcel, which is this parcel and those plats. You know, I don't know if something else around it, somewhere down the line, maybe got construed a little bit, and I agree with David, sometimes it doesn't look exactly right, but I can't see.
1 acre, 60 hectares.
Yeah, he did cut out a 1-acre parcel, but that was back, the best I can find was back in what, 01, 02? So, which is this parcel, and this even kind of, even back in, well, there's 08, it shows a little broken line right there, but I mean, I do not see an issue with it as far as moving forward with it, but
For our purposes, it just doesn't seem like it should affect our decision to deny it.
Well, can we make it conditional on verifying that that particular parcel has not been?
If we're gonna do that, I'd rather just say we need to go back and revisit it completely.
No.
Well, then you'd have to go through all of it again.
We might can clear it up by tomorrow evening.
Okay.
And again, I don't think again, I don't think it merits, turning down the applicant. I think that it makes sense for where the property is and the agricultural zone is within, is to move forward. I just think that there's just a little bit of a mapping issue, and we just might need to fix that. But I don't think it merits y'all sending it back or remanding it or anything of that nature.
Or making it conditional.
Yeah.
So what happens if we find out that we have created a illegal plot or parcel?
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then it's still under the same ownership. You can ask that the owner may enough to make it a legal tract at that point in time. We can, now if it's our tract, we'll look at it, and I'll give you a better answer, because I didn't have the benefit of seeing.
well, and if David, when we spoke about it, had I not found this other plat, I would have been back down there, but I found that and I thought, oh, that clears it up, you know, so that's why we moved forward.
Would we, question which survey, both? The last?
No, I don't know that we need to look, let's just look at.
It was that parcel, when I found that,
Yeah.
David, I thought, you'd be fine, I figured, you know, I didn't hear back a whole lot from you on it. I seen that, kind of cleared it up for me, of what me and you spoke about that afternoon at your office. So I just, I just figured it was good. Or at least I didn't have any, at that point, my concerns were no longer there, so. But y'all, like I said, just,
I'm good to approve it.
All right, then, moving right along. Bill Craig Dodge, A1 agricultural, R1 residential. Okay, so he wants to combine some purchase property into his tract, is that?
yeah, he's got some A1 property. If you look at that big plat, I think it's the last page, or next to the last page, I'm sorry. You can look at the last page and kind of see where we draw in the lines of kind of what's agricultural. He would be at 188 on the zoning map. And you see the two little parcels we draw the black lines in. Page prior to that would be tract C and tract D. Both really need to be combined. But again, it's just, this simply is a request for him to, he's acquiring this from the family parcel of tract A, which is, he's part of that family, but
they're gonna sell track A, so he bought a little bit of it to increase his acreage, his current residence there. So he's gonna put it on the market eventually and retire, and he wants to be able to sell out and have, you know, a little more buffer, I guess you could say. But it's simply to rezone that .23, .43 from ag to residential and combine with the 1.24 acres. And that will be followed up with a, you know, a new plat. He hasn't, he won't move forward with that until he gets the approval. Of course, it would be contingent of the combination of the three.
But he's already physically purchased those two.
It's family property, yeah, I mean, it's in the, I don't know if there's a, I don't know what it is really. I mean, I know that his family owns track A and they're gonna sell it, but he wanted to go ahead and take C and D for himself, however they work it out. But yeah, I think they currently own it. But again, you can see on that last page there, what it would do, you know, in the scheme of zoning. He's, except for that one big parcel of agriculture, everything else around is residential. He just, like I said, just wants to increase the size.
The two little ones are non-compliant now, right now.
They would be, yes.
So they just about have to be done.
Well, it's,
Let's see, he becomes compliant with R1 and the.
yeah, he's not, he only currently has 1.24 acres, which was grandfathered in. But I can't think of anything I would recommend more than this type of situation to bring him into from a grandfathered non-compliant parcel to a current compliant parcel.
Makes sense to me. I don't see a problem with it. Anything else on it? You see anything?
No, there was any other issues.
Moving on then, the next one, LJ LLC. It's William Rogers, from R1 residential low density to C1 commercial. As I understand it, he's got two parcels that are commercial.
Yeah.
And two that are R1, he just wants to make them all the same. Okay.
Yeah, he wants to rezone the two.
Jim, is this the Bill Rogers who's got the plane that comes in from Florida?
I don't know. Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she.
Part of the shooting range?
They actually have a school in the classroom.
Bristol.
He said the classroom portion of his school is on this parcel.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The reason I thought of this,
What color is that?
it's
Actually, yellow and red.
one day, this is a quick story. One day I was working at the airport and his plane comes in and he parked over near the gas tanks and he's unloading. And they're crates, wooden crates. And I'm saying, what is this guy got? He's carrying ammunition. You're right. You're right. So he hauls it up from Florida and uses it in his business.
It's an internationally known shooting school.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's got a reputation. Yeah, well, but I have no.
There was a couple of people.
I'm surprised the neighbors didn't complain.
There were a couple people there that had questions, that wanted to know what was going on, what would the options be, but I didn't hear of anybody that, do you remember hearing anybody physically complain? I don't think there was any
The gist of it
complaints.
seemed to be, from what I read, was, is there shooting going to be taking place
No,
on the property?
no, no, no.
And the answer was no, that's at a different.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
He assured
What's he
us
gonna
and
do with the
neighbors. What's that?
What's he gonna do with it?
He's got a school.
Yeah, I mean, if he wanted to,
He's going to combine them.
well, he wants to combine them for, I don't know if it's for tax
Is
purposes.
this on Mountain Town Road?
No, this is right here on Lower Carter County.
Oh.
Yeah, Venture
Oh,
Trail.
it's a different
So, I
location.
mean, there'd be never no shooting right here, I'm sure.
This is
This
a
is for his lodge.
Yeah, they have a lodge there, but any expansion or anything like that, if he wanted to, you know, add on later on and use any of this other property, would have to be zoned commercial. So I'm assuming he's just trying to you know, he has his letter of intent right here, which states that my intent is to buy all 4 parcels, so that they're zoned identically. All 4 lots access to lots.
He is an honest, straight shooter, pardon the pun.
All right.
Don't say it was unintentional.
Are there other, any concerns?
No.
No.
Moving right on. Review pending action on the resolution awarding asphalt.
Do we split this up, Jim, or do we need to? Between 2 bidders?
Now, your C.W. Matthews is the only one that actually bid the asphalt. Now, the bituminous tack coat that is at the bottom, you'll see when you see the bid. Yeah, we purchased the tack coat with our emulsion, because you can see $4 a gallon versus $1.47 and $1.37.
Right.
Asphalt for C.W. Matthews is what we're really concerned about. And one of the things that we will do with this is it enables us when we're doing our LMIG grant application and all of the documentation, then we're looking at actual bid prices. And we've also converted this time to new terminology that is used in the industry instead of the E-mix, G-mix, F-mix. It's actually measured in the size of the aggregate. So, I mean, I have no problem with it. And one of the things that you will also see, that they only bid 2 plants. That is Blairsville and Ball Ground. Ball Ground is the plant that we normally would haul from. LJ plant is history. I mean, I had no problem with it.
This looks like
C.W. Matthews.
You can also see the difference between the Ball Ground plant for the same product and the Blairsville plant, and that is, the reason for that is the stone that is used. In Blairsville, it is limestone. In Ball Ground, it's granite.
Do we need to specify the plan or just the vendor?
No, I would prefer to keep it just with the vendor, because there may be times when we would have to pull from a different plant.
Okay. All right, right here. So we look at the bid for concrete products.
Now, the concrete products, I don't have. The county clerk has the concrete products. I can get that.
Davis?
Yeah, one bidder is what I understand.
Just the one. I guess that's it. Jim, do you have a problem?
Well, you know, no, this, as I understand it, and I don't even know this vendor, West Concrete has been our supplier for the last, 4 or 5 years. And for some reason, they overlooked this bidding process, and I'm anxious to go meet Wayne Davis. I understand they have opened a plant up in the area of C.W. Matthews and the quarry. Yeah. So, and I'm assuming they're licensed.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of the foundation crews are using them.
Are they licensed in the county?
Karen will answer that, but I'm sure they are.
Okay. But I don't have any problem with them because,
Since West didn't bid, this is what we get.
yeah, you know, and why Chad overlooked this, I do not know. I didn't feel comfortable in calling him after the fact, say, hey, you overlooked this thing, you know, you're out. But you know, I'll go meet Mr. Davis and take a look at his plant and see what he provides.
How much total are we talking about roughly?
Well, Dallas, we use the concrete plants for a variety of different things. I mean, we were able to use West Concrete block for the preformed concrete blocks that you see out here. We use that a lot of times for stabilization of a stream or a pipe or something like that. We also use bag concrete, of which they provided in the past, in addition to the bulk concrete. The bulk concrete for the road department, I don't know about the other departments. Anytime we're pouring a slab, we poured a slab last year for solid waste for one of our compaction units. We used bulk concrete for that. So, I mean, over a 12-month period, you use quite a bit of product from these concrete suppliers that you can't get at other places. Now, the bag concrete, of course, you can buy that. But these prefab blocks and stuff like that, you can't get that in place else. But I have no problem with Wayne Davis, you know.
Okay, well, then moving right along. Going to the awarding of the emulsion bid.
And the emulsion bids, I mean, we had two bidders, Ergon, which is the sales agency now for, what was the name of the company that we used? Seeker. Ergon is now the sales company for Seco from the particular plant that we pulled from. And I don't have any problem. The products that we use will be CRS 2H and CRS 2L. The L standing for latex. We use the latex in our tar and chip. We use the 2H as our tack coat for asphalt paving and also for our pothole patches.
So
What is the
Ergon is
2P?
the only one that.
2P, I really don't know what 2P is.
Ergon's the only one that
We don't
bid
use
on.
that's
Pardon?
Ergon's the only one that bid on everything you use, is what you're saying?
Well, no, Hudson bid, you can see their bids.
Well, you said 2L you used.
2L, Ergon is the only one that bid on 2L.
What about MC70, whatever that is?
Why don't we have two ideas?
I don't know.
That's what I'm asking.
Well, you got,
Probably delivered, picked
oh,
up.
the MC70 Prime? I don't even know what that is. We don't use it.
We don't care about that.
Right.
All right, so we care about CRS 2H.
CRS 2H,
Okay.
and you have a delivered price and you have a pickup price.
So only
And
one
then
vendor
CRS 2L.
bid on all the products.
Correct.
So Ergon's lower on the 2H and the only one on the 2L. So it looks like
That's all,
Ergon.
no trust. I agree.
All right, next is going to be the bid for propane.
I don't have propane either, so. But the whole county uses the propane, so it's not
I want some of these at my house.
just. Yeah, you'd love to have those prices.
Yes.
That's my copy.
Those are what we refer to as chicken house prices.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so assuming
Still adds up a little
It
bit.
does.
all of the things are equal
135,000 a year.
with the bidder, It looks like Appalachian propane.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, you know, they have dominated it and in a good way for the county. I mean, can you imagine the county paying for 95 and $1.10 and 95?
And should note this is for January
January through December.
So that'll be great. All right, stone bids.
Okay, now stone bids, again, prices are up. And this will start January the 1st. The number one product that we use from Vulcan is the GAB or graded aggregate base, and that's going to be up, let's see, graded aggregate base, about 50 cents. Looks like 50 cents across the.
Now, here's a question that I have on graded aggregate base. Bluegrass is cheaper. For non-delivered. No, wait a minute, this is, hang on, I'm looking at this wrong.
They're non-delivered.
Non-delivered is they're higher than
Non-delivered, Charlie, we haul every ounce of
I
stone.
had delivered, non-delivered.
Yeah.
So delivered is not an issue, is that what you're saying?
Not an issue.
So we only care about
Even
non-delivered.
though you're down to 2 trucks.
Even though we're down to 2 trucks.
Well, yeah, maybe it is cheap.
Yeah, well, it could. Well, now, Travis, we're back with the 4 trucks operating today. Notice my finger crossed. But no, we pick up our own product. We don't.
You know, when you talk about your dump trucks, you're not including your spreader trucks.
Our spreader truck was down for 2 weeks.
But in that 4, the spreader trucks. In the
That's a separate issue.
Do you have one of those?
Yeah.
How many miles is it?
It was used when it was bought. It was.
How old is it?
What color? Is it 1 or 2 trucks?
No, it's just got 1 prop.
Okay.
What kind of engines we got?
Okay, what do we care about besides graded aggregate base?
Well, all of it, Charlie. We use a variety of stone, but Vulcan non-delivered prices compared to bluegrass.
Every single.
Yeah, it's not even a contest.
So we're good on that then?
Let me ask you, Jim, I hear that this stuff is going to double in price. Tell me what's going on.
Well, when we sent these out, I had folks from Vulcan to call me. You know, it's and they told me that, you know, they had planned on a price increase in January anyway. So they went ahead and built that in. But Vulcan is so big, Dallas, that really these other quarries, unless they are stuck right at you, they can't compete with them. And that we're fortunate in that we have a quarry in Gilmer County, you know, 5-6 miles away. Now, think about if you were in Fannin County or someplace where you didn't have a quarry and you had to, you're going to eat up a bunch of fuel and mileage in hauling. But the delivered price is more for private type stuff. Most of your counties and municipalities, they're going to go to the quarry and pick it up.
Well, 2 concerns. My concern was the price of even non-delivered was for some reason, and I don't know if it's China or building construction in general or something. Second question, are we at a place where we spend enough on stone that it would be worth looking at reclaiming stuff from our existing roads that got dumped into this site right of ways and buy out, what is it called, a reclaimer or something?
Well, no, you have,
What's the-
you have machinery that you can actually take concrete products, and you can grind it, and you can make a good base stone for gravel roads, or you can make a good base stone for a road that you were paving.
I'm just thinking of pulling up stone that's not on the road on the road itself, but on the right of way and reusing it, recleaning it.
We do that.
How do you do that?
What we do is we take, when we're grading a road, okay, what we do is we pull the stone from the edge of the road back to the middle.
Yeah, that's,
And then we spread it again.
but if you,
And then if we have, we call it sweetening, whereas used to, Gilmer County, what Gilmer County would do is go with a dump truck. And we would go out, open the tailgate, and we would spread stone out. Then we would come back to the motor grader and spread it some more. What the spreader truck allows us to do is to be more efficient. And what we have become is more efficient too, in that we pull all of the stone from the outside edge back to the middle, and then we spread it out. And we sweeten that road with new stone only in spots where it's absolutely needed. But yeah, you can't, we reclaim, we make that gravel go just as far as it will go.
Now, you're not talking about one of these that actually rips up the pavement?
no.
No,
I
he's talking
was
about-
just thinking about whatever, because what I see happening is that stone eventually gets off into the side shoulder. And if we pull that to the middle, but I was thinking that we could have a loader that loads that into a truck and use it on a different road.
Why would we want to load, use it on the same road?
Because, well, if you need it on the same road. But
Yeah.
If it's not needed on that road, then you're saving buying new stone for another road.
Oh, yeah, but.
Is all I'm asking.
No, those are good questions. What you do is, if you get a call in, or and we get those calls umpteen a day, you go out there and you assess it, and the motor grader operator is the one that does the assessment. And he looks at it, he pulls the stone in, he spreads it out, and then he will call back and say, hey, I'm gonna need 2 or 3 spreader truck loads of stone on road so-and-so.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
I was just looking if there's any.
No, there's
possibility
good
of not
question.
buying new stone.
Yeah.
If we got someplace to reclaim. And that's all I was looking at.
But now, one
Not
of the
grinding
things-
it up like
On asphalt, one of the things that's becoming a pretty popular thing is for what is referred to as the milling machines. You've seen DOT doing it all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're milling that old asphalt up. They take it back to the plant. They heat it, they add, and they test it. They have their own labs there. If it needs more emulsion, if it needs more aggregate, then they add that to that. But, and we approached this question some years back with your predecessor about the possibility of buying a milling machine. With C.W. Matthews now, I haven't checked with other asphalt companies. If you take that mill product to their plant, you get nothing, no credit for it at all. You are buying back at their quoted prices. Yeah, you're recycling asphalt for them.
Okay.
moving right along.
Moving right.
Should favor big phrase.
Hey, so far, it's working. It works. It's just amazing. People say it, and people do it.
No, you should say it sooner.
Yeah. All right, so we're agreed on both on this one, right? Yeah. All right, the next item will be appointing a member to the Region 1 DVHDD Planning Board. And let's see, we have a candidate for that. Now, Bruce Straw has resigned.
Yeah, it's like, moved.
I'm not saying that we have a candidate to replace him. We don't have anybody.
I don't have a chart. I thought we were going to check with, someone. Who were we going to talk? Who was out, who else was in there?
Was it? It would probably either be Gene Smiley or Joaquin Frankie.
I don't know. I don't have any.
Whoever it is, it looks like it'll be October 5th. So, are y'all good? Just,
Yeah, I don't need.
Resolution to approve the advertisement of the Gilman County Board of Commissioners intent to construct a public facility known as the Cherry Log Fire Station.
Cherry Log.
Yeah.
Ooh, you got it cleared yet?
Have you talked to Sam at State Pig? She's ready to cut you over her trees.
Is she really?
Yeah.
No more free food?
Talking about that willow tree?
Well, no,
Those dogwoods
those,
out there at the
those
end.
dogwoods.
She eat me alive over that. Jim Smith.
I know that.
And you laid it all on to me, didn't you?
Yes, I did, buddy.
I noticed another thing, I don't want to say a problem, potential issues. When we were talking to Jake the other day, one of the things he specifically asked was no signs, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
And we
That's
said,
its only thing.
and we said, no signs. I got looking at the plat, or what was provided to us by, some of the turned over to us. There's a note on one of those that says specifically, I would like to reserve the right to the sign. Have y'all noticed that?
I didn't notice that.
Is it on the deed?
You mean he is reserving the right to put a directional sign to his development?
I haven't checked the deed, but there is a note on one of the plats that we've seen in. It says, I'd like to reserve the right for the sign here.
I didn't see that.
Don't we have a meeting tonight?
Yes, we did, as a matter of fact.
Town hall meeting?
Is that tonight?
I believe
Yeah,
it is.
It is.
Where is your town hall meeting?
It's at
It's
6
the
p.m.
Cherry Log Community Center.
I need to avoid that place.
What
Based on
What time is that?
It's at 6 o'clock.
Don't you get there when I got to go? You have to go back. They're not making any motions.
Oh, we might want to.
Now, is
No.
it advertised?
Yes. It was
Yeah.
advertised in the paper.
Yeah, we talked about it.
So we're all good to go.
Yeah.
And we talked about via email, both of us are
Via
a little bit late.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try to,
So we're gonna test the
Postpone them a
water,
little
see
bit.
how hot it is. We may not even.
That makes me feel really.
No, I think you.
Travis, we hope they hit their anger out before we get there.
I figure I can just kind of shoot the bull for 15 minutes, put us at 6:15. Then by the time we get deep in any subject, we'll be 6:30, and that's what you were talking
Well,
about, 6:30.
yeah, I really will be there probably early.
I'll be there well before 6:30.
Okay, so
we're at
yeah.
6.
Yeah.
Well, now, I can lay the
Are you gonna be there, Tony?
dogwood trees on the county attorney. Because if we had done what we normally do, we would have taken right away from both sides.
Okay.
But-
Yeah, you're very fortunate the way things are, because usually the way this thing works is you fire the guy and then you lay everything out.
Okay. All right.
So have poles been moved?
Some poles have been moved. Tony,
There was an old pole sitting there on that property that was one time Amicalola use that they said they'd come take it out. As far as raising the power lines, they said that they'd come out and do that, no cost whatsoever. There's a possibility we may not have to move the power lines depending on how our site plan comes out. If we have to move the lines further up the hill, then that's when we're looking at the cost. But as far as raising them for access in and out, that's going to be done for free.
So
The other one that was there discontinued, they were going to remove it, but nothing else has been touched yet.
So Jacob called me and I gave you your number. He ever talked to you? Samantha said.
about
He owns that house right next door. He wanted to know about the lines.
the line. Yeah, actually, I went to the Pink Pig to eat, and he talked to me about it there. So we have had that discussion, and I assured him that this was just a matter of convenience for us, and it did not mean that we were going to do anything that affected his driveway or his house there.
And I did tell him about the meeting tonight.
Okay, so, so then what we're gonna do is have a resolution to approve advertising our intent to construct a public facility. Is there any other discussion that we need to have on that here? If not, moving right along. Okay, adopting the first reader to amend subpart 2, Article 2, Chapter 70 of the Code of Gilmer County, Georgia, titled the Soil Erosion, Sedimentation, Pollution Control Ordinance. We don't really have a whole lot. This is something the state says do it, and I guess we just do it.
We just do it.
That's it. That's all.
That's it. They don't fuck that out.
How's that working for you?
Moving right along.
Moving right along, Charlie.
All right. Appointment of member to the Kids Cottage Board of Directors. Don Van Landingham has taken on the role of treasurer of Kids Cottage, but he's not a board member. And they would, of course, like the treasurer, him specifically, to be a board member. So what happened in the last board meeting was there is a provision that anybody that misses 3 consecutive and 5 consecutive board meetings is out. And so they, the county's candidate, I think had missed, I'm not sure he's ever even come here. So they voted to replace that person with a new candidate, which they're asking us to be Don Van Landingham. So that would be what this is.
That's good. That's good.
Consideration of ordinance to allow registration of UTVs for road use. David sent me, I guess all of us, an opinion, essentially that they're already legal. And probably we shouldn't start messing with trying to change something that they can already do. I haven't had a chance yet, but I want to have a conversation with the tax commissioner, because one of the things that's going to have to happen if they get on the road is they're going to have to be registered. We're going to give them a tag. So what I'm going to do is just make that same argument to Becky prior to tomorrow night's meeting. And if
You think it's the state requirement?
for the registration, Well, I don't think the state allow anything that goes without having a tag on it.
I think they do.
Agricultural.
Yeah, the farm vehicles.
So what's our situation?
So in a little
That's why they're not getting into registration.
A
I would rather not too, I just thought we had
For a
to.
little history, David, you can help me out with this, but 15 years ago, there was some registration of ATVs in the county, and there was a big group on about that. You remember that?
No, I don't.
No.
I'm guessing that was before.
Talk to, David Gillis.
Uh-huh.
He was in the middle of it.
Now, the people who are wanting this assure me repeatedly that there's a major difference between a UTV and an ATV, and it specifically is not for ATV.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of that argument.
Well, there is a difference.
And there is a definition difference, yeah.
Okay, so basically, I need to have a conversation with people. And, or wait, maybe I don't need to have a conversation.
You know,
with people. Well, I mean, what?
At this point in time, I don't know that y'all really need to take any action, and maybe just simply ask Stacy for what his exercise. Yeah, because again, it's not uniform throughout the state. The sheriff treats it differently, but without a doubt, ATVs are not permitted on roadways. But these vehicles that they're looking at are essentially modernized
They're
vehicles.
very expensive little units. They're not your basic ATVs.
No, and they've got their equipped with lighting, they're equipped with steering wheel. I mean,
Some of them have air conditioning.
I didn't know that.
That's what I'm told. I don't know.
Close down, yeah.
Oh, so,
But there's no airbags in there. I don't know how that works. I mean, I don't think you can license them. I don't think we could license them.
I'm happy not. to.
Well, that's nice of
You know, if they could get on the road without it.
I don't even know if they're titled.
they do have a title, all those, even ATVs have a title that can be transferred to the new owner. But in this situation, my advice to y'all is to simply not to enact anything until,
I need to talk with Stacy, and I need to talk with Ed and LJ. And,
Yeah, this is, the point I was gonna make today was that this really is a city issue, because you can't go to hardly any restaurant or any business without going on a city street.
well, the folks who
We're not
are
controlling that.
The folks who are asking for this, you know, the city is essentially their primary interest, but getting to the city is an essential part of that. So,
Yeah, but I don't wanna give them access to get to the city, and the city doesn't want to.
well, that's why I said I need to also talk to
Right.
Ed, Stacy, and to Callahan from East LJ, in addition to Stacy.
Yeah.
So we need all three of them to weigh in on this.
absolutely.
And I can try to do all that tomorrow before I meet.
And then if the cities are resistant to it, then by all means, I mean, because ultimately their destination is downtown, y'all need to work something out that would be mutually acceptable. There's no sense in giving them, again, I don't necessarily agree that you have to give them authority based upon some of those opinions and that statutes that I shared. But again, this is a case-by-case scenario, right? You might have one GSP officer that would enforce it one way and another do it a completely different way. But as long as they've got working taillights, they've got a brake light, and then headlights, and everything else that you would normally need for the operation of the vehicle on the roadway.
But that's not even standard.
Yeah, and it says it's a vehicle. It's defined in the statute as a vehicle. So it's multi-purpose, multi-purpose all-terrain vehicle. But, so I just wouldn't step into this arena at this point in
Well,
time.
I mean, based on that, we don't have to give them permission anyway. They essentially already have it.
That's correct. And then if Stacy's not going to stop them or have any of his deputies stop them, then the issue will only lie within the city. And it'll be the city to tell them. That way y'all stay out of the fray, so to speak.
And the ordinance you were talking about, was this a lot of state highways, county, everything?
The statute is just so simply the definition of what, and that was the only sad part about that is there was only one other occurrence in the entire body of the ordinance that used that, and it was the multi-purpose off-highway vehicle. And there was no other references, so You know, whereas the Attorney General said you could cite even ATVs for violations of the road, you know, rules and stuff. So at this point in time, again, my suggestion would be to consult with Stacy by all means, and then see if it's an enforcement issue that he would enforce, then we got to step back and relook at it.
Yeah. Okay, I'll attempt to have had that discussion with all three of them about each month.
Any reason we'd have to even maybe include Georgia State Patrol in that discussion with
I wouldn't want to.
If somebody gets on 52 or 280, they patrol those too.
Those don't have a minimum speed posted, I don't think. It's the 515 that does have a minimum speed posted, and I don't think any of these type of vehicles be able to reach that minimum speed.
And their request,
I don't think there's a minimum.
Not a minimum.
Is it not?
No, not a minimum.
in their request, they only want the capability of being able to cross the state road. They don't want to be able to travel the state road, just when the situation requires it, just to be able to cross it.
Yeah, but what do you?
But how can you go anywhere?
How do you go down River Street?
That's true.
Well, Main Street,
That's a good point.
Main Street
That's something
is
we'll
a
have to
state,
take up with
Main
them.
Street's a state highway.
No.
Fine.
No,
Yeah, it is.
not anymore.
There's a portion of it,
Portions.
and that's the stupidest thing I've heard of in my life, but it's county and state and county.
Oh, hey,
But anyway.
I don't know where you can go without.
We're talking, no, we're talking a real dilemma here to get into it. I hope we can stay out of it.
Well, let me tell you, we're not gonna be able to stay out of it, but I have been assured that they were going to take this however high it needs to go.
But as presented to y'all in this draft form, the ordinance that they presented to you is not correct.
Not necessary.
Yeah, it's talking about personal vehicle transports, and that pertains to the mixed-use developments that you see out of Peachtree City. And you have your shoulders like the bicycle path that you have going out of town and everything.
Yeah, that's
So as presented, it's not something that would work here at this point in time. So, and like I said, it just merits further.
So how do we address the state portion of
And again, you would have no authority to even regulate the state.
it? Well, that's right, we couldn't do anything one way or the other. I'll still have the conversation with the law enforcement heads. We'll go from there tomorrow. Resolution to adopt the updated community work program and capital improvements elements for York County and the cities of LJ and East LJ. So we approved the update to this in our last meeting. So what's happened in the meantime is that DCA has accepted what we approved. So now we need a resolution to them. The three of us, the county and the two cities.
No comment.
I'm glad somebody else is doing this.
So that we can continue to get our L-meeting grant.
All of your grants.
All, whatever we don't need is about what we get. But
All funds from the state, yeah.
I didn't get it. What's your phrase?
moving right along.
Moving on.
Resolution authorizing the chairman to sign the GFA contract on the general sewer project.
Is that baby ready to go, Travis? Is it ready?
Is everybody okay with that?
I'm okay, but I need a question answered.
There's one property that's going to have to be condemned, but if it's going to be bored under, it's not even going to be disturbed in the surface. Everything's set.
Yes, question.
This was, originally this loan is still for $2,100,000. According to 2.1. And that's okay. I don't know what's the term? How many years is that loan for?
I'm not sure it really matters because our intent is to go ahead and pay it off very quickly.
I think it's 15.
Well, there will be interest in it.
Only to the point we pay it off.
That's the question. How much is?
And I just want to know that answer, because it affects our budget, possibly.
Yeah, but it doesn't affect our decision to move forward, I don't think.
I don't.
And plus the $500,000 forgiveness.
If we don't do it, we lose that 500,000.
I'm not saying we don't do it. I'm in agreement to do it. I'm just asking the question to know, what are we doing? There's also, again, we're not going to do it, but it authorizes us to put an annual loan tax on and pay for it too. I mean, that gives us authority to do that, or required to do that if there's some reason we can't pay it otherwise. And I don't have a problem with that. I just want to know that we are guaranteeing, well, 2.1 plus.
Henry Stark and I.
That's all, and I don't have a problem with that.
Been discussing this, and Henry's in contact with the water authority, their attorney. He's been discussing it with Dave down there with the Geneva. I think it's not necessarily, but it's the state representative, state agency official. And we are looking at ways to avoid it. We were initially looking at ways to alleviate this guarantee because of the bond.
Yeah.
The bond.
Yeah, that was the next question.
But that one actually is going to need to be pushed back a little bit further because there's some issues remaining. In the light of what you receive on the annual savings and bond refunding, the $500,000 or the $450,000, whatever it is, the forbearance, the forgiveness on this, pretty much it's a greater impact.
Yeah.
But I said all this to say this is that y'all parked about 1.67 million over there. And what we're trying to do is figure out if there's a way we can get hypothecated rather than actually having to do a guarantee. And that way you wouldn't have anything showing that you would actually utilize the tax.
Well, yeah, because it affects our refunding.
Well,
that's a new word for my vocabulary. What does that mean?
Throwing the funds over there to which is essentially what you've done to begin with.
That's the whole point.
Yeah. As much as Sandy would probably like to have it back for the or as much as Charlie would like to have it back, it's gone. And it's out the door, so to speak. But that being said, is I think we'll make some direction on this. So y'all just simply need to authorize the chairman to proceed forward in the direction that will allow the county to utilize it as best.
I think that's fine, and I'm not opposed to doing this.
The bids have come in surprisingly low. That's the other good news.
Well, that is an awesome thing. Now, the loan won't be eligible to be repaid until the contract or
The bid came in at 1.7. It was under $1.8 million.
So when is the completion estimate?
That I don't recall. I think it's within the calendar year.
Of 2007. And that's what we were all trying to structure in our meetings with them, is to do it after 2017 and click, and before 2018 and click, so that we kept it off their books. And Bonnie, and we all felt comfortable for Gary to being able to do that. So that amount of interest that would have accrued on this type of loan being tax exempt, if that's what it ends up being, is probably nominal.
Yeah.
Nominal, so, in the overall scheme.
I understand. I appreciate the comments. Okay.
Travis, who was a little bit?
I was going to tell you that. They're in Jasper, actually.
Mullen? Lee Mullen?
That's who did Tower Road, wasn't it?
They did,
Valley.
Mullins came in, Mullins Utilities came in at $1.778 million. Well,
They're a good contracts for the experience that I had with them.
the other two bids were 1.989 and 2.384.
So if this thing actually comes in under,
Don't dream.
So we already have a plan. We already have a plan that's been in place for a year.
Have you ever heard of change orders?
And People told me I was crazy to plan for a contingency of coming in under budget, but I did. So one of the sewer pipes over at the river bar, Steve Jones is working on a plan to submerge that and get FEMA approval and use some of the overage funds. The water authority appears to be okay with that.
All right.
FEMA has to sign off on this year because there's nothing that can be done there can raise the 100-year flood upstream. And they're concerned. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, anything else on this?
Yeah, it does not, we're going to, in terms of the refunding of the loans, how are we going to handle that?
That looks like.
It's not on our agenda, but it's related to this
As
agreement.
in discussions, that doesn't look like that's going to be a calendar year 2017.
2016.
I'm already in 2016.
Move it into 17.
Might as well be.
Okay.
So it's probably going to be early 2017. Of course, there's some interest rate sensitivity, we got an election, presidential election, but normally short-term interest rates hold fairly true, and we're 6 months out.
Okay. Resolution to adopt fiscal year 2018 to 2022 capital improvement plan for the Gilmer County Airport.
I hope you have had an opportunity to read the letter from the Airport Advisory Board and also to go over the updated 5-year capital improvement plan for the airport. I think the letter will explain what we're doing, and so everybody understands why we're dealing with 2018 through 2022. This is on state, this is trying to match state and federal fiscal years. And right now, we're in their 2017 fiscal year, or about to be for the feds. But I'll answer any questions that you might have concerning it. The deadline for us to have this in is November the 30th, so the Airport Advisory Board and us, we started in plenty of time, but I mean, most of it is items that we have had on our 5-year capital improvement plan for a lot of years. This year we added one thing, and the letter explains that, and that is wildlife management. One of the things that we are running into with at the airport, primarily in the hangars, is birds. And birds are creating a problem, not only for the structure itself, but also for the aircraft that are stored in there. And we think that we can get funding if we deal with the bird prevention, not only in the hangars, but also in the runway safety area as well.
I know that's been a
barn swallow.
That's been an ongoing problem ever since those hangars were built. But didn't we have a problem with the door seals or whatever those?
Yeah, the rubber seals that were put on there. I mean, the sun and heat degrades them, and those darn things are expensive to replace every 2 or 3 years, and that's about the life of them. One of the things that we looked at is, instead of using the rubber seals, is going to the broom type seals that we have at the bottom. Oh, we have them at the bottom, putting them along the top. And those broom type seals are about 3 times as expensive as the rubber seals. And that still doesn't solve the problem, Dallas, because hangar doors, they're open. And when they're open, the birds fly in. You know.
Where does this netting go?
Where the netting goes, Dallas, is it actually fastens, it fastens to the superstructure of the building. In other words, one building is 12,000 square feet, the other one is 10,000. And it fastens up like this so the birds don't have a place to perch and build their nest. With the barn swallows, the reason that the population continues to grow is they come in, they nest, they raise their young, they're a migratory bird, and then they fly south, and then they come back the next year because they're bonded to that nesting place. Swallows at Capistrano. Same thing.
We'll still have the problem with the 4 heaters if we want to have here.
We haven't
They
used
fill
those.
those things out?
Yeah, we haven't. We have not used those heaters for fear that we could create a fire.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, and we don't have the heaters in the lower hangar, so you know there really isn't a reason to use those heaters.
Jim, I needed help. I didn't know what number 6 of the 2018 DBE plan my mind is.
Okay, that's a disadvantaged business enterprise plan that we have to do, we as a county have to do.
Do we do it, or is this?
Yes, we do it.
We do it?
We do it. Yes, sir. About every 3 years, we do this plan, and because it is a requirement of the FAA and everything, well, the county gets the entire benefit. So they pay.
Okay. And then when you wrote in here under like CA services,
Yeah, what is that?
what is that?
That's in there a lot.
No, it says including down under 2019.
Well, it's
like
under
4,
all, under all.
And 5, under 20, yeah. Including CA services. I did not know what that referred to.
Where are you reading?
Off to the right.
You got them underlined.
Yeah, I've highlighted mine.
Oh.
That was my only question. You got a construction on
You know, I don't know. No, so I'll have you an answer by tomorrow night.
That's fine. Was this the first year we added, or I don't remember having the T-hanger included in
No.
this plan?
In our we have had our airport layout plan.
Yeah.
We have areas designated for T-hangers. And the T-hangers kind of come and go. But what we are putting in there is the land acquisition for future construction of T-hangers.
And design of them.
And the design.
Yeah. And construction. You can wait out there.
Mhm. Yeah. The airport layout plan, and if you all don't have one, Kim has one here. And it shows the area that has been designated privately owned land today that has been designated for the construction of T-hangers.
Okay, any other questions on this one? If not, that moves us to citizens wishing to speak. And I wish to speak. So, one of the things I wanted to mention is a problem that we've had in Rose from the recovering from the disaster that we had. You know, we're doing all these FEMA projects, and we're getting some money from FEMA, but most of it we have not gotten yet. And what we do get doesn't go back into general budget, as he had reminded me of, a time or 20. Or 50, yeah.
Every time.
So here's the problem. The road department is putting out stone left and right on repairing all these projects. And they very quickly this year reached their limit for that line item for stone. And we raised it and said, okay, because we can take from some other lines, go up to, I think we said 125,000. He's run out at 125,000, or he ran out a week or so ago. And now 125,000 is gone because we're using it to do these repairs. We're not getting the money back in. And the money we have got back in, then go back to him. And we've got no stone, we've got no money to buy stone with. So I've told him we're going to buy stone, and that we'll do whatever we need to do, but I wanted to make y'all aware of the situation because we cannot not have stone in the road department unless we just send everybody home.
Well, isn't that a line item under his budget?
It is.
Oh, it is.
And that's the problem.
But we have control, as commissioners, my understanding, on funding that department, not control over individual line
But
items.
here's the problem. When we first upped that line item from, what was it, 80? 70 to 120,
25.
We did that, and I didn't come to y'all with this, because the way we did that was exactly what you're suggesting. We just moved things from one line item to another line item. Now we don't have capacity. We can't.
You rob Peter, and let Peter drive, that's all.
Well, with the projects we still got to go, which is the Ridgeway Church Road and so forth, we can't assure at this point that we can have enough money left in other line items to move over. So I just wanted to give you all a heads up. Now, the money's coming back in from June, it's just not going.
But as part of our budget amendments, we're going to address that.
Yes, and that essentially what I want to do is just to give a heads up so that when we get to our budget amendment.
Yeah,
y'all will know what's
We're
going on.
to do it, yeah.
Because technically what I told Jim to do, you know, needs the three of us to approve since we're going over his budget. But there was no option short of shutting down the road department.
And
so I just want to make y'all aware.
That's good.
What's going on.
thank you.
Charlie, I understand and I'm okay with that. What, could we do this? Can we not, we don't today apply FEMA payments to your budget?
And the auditor said we can't.
Is that
Well,
really not, I
what
don't
we
think that's
can
quite true.
We asked him direct questions.
We couldn't do it in a debit credit, but we could.
I think we can add it as revenue.
Well, what we can do, all the FEMA money is set up in a separate fund.
Right.
What we can do is move some of the expenditures that are in the detail, the project worksheets that we get from FEMA. It breaks it down, labor, machinery and equipment, you know, supplies, things of that nature. We can, what I'm trying to do is go by those project worksheets to make adjustments from Jim's general fund budget over to that FEMA budget. Because the money that we're getting in from FEMA is going into that FEMA fund. So,
But she can't do that until she actually receives the money.
Right.
right.
You know, and that's, that's the problem.
Is some of it gonna spill over into the next year?
I hope that all of our force accounting work is done this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope she's got the money by that time.
Yeah.
My problem with it, and I appreciate the chairman bringing this up because it's something that I've struggled with for some time, and I know they get tired of hearing me. My problem is I'm maxed out, and I'm using wintertime stone that you know, and that's not good. So it ran my certain line items in my M&O budget way out of sight, you know, and I appreciate you all thinking about that, and wanting to address it because of.
However, whatever works, I mean,
Right, right.
even if we didn't get this back to Jim somehow, as long as we know this
Right.
money's coming in over here,
Yeah,
we can make budget
Yeah.
amendments over here,
right.
and everything's fine. I just wanted y'all to be aware of what's going on.
I appreciate it.
Any other citizens wishing to speak? Would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thanks for the question.
Some money left from some people like that. Years ago.